place where the downtrend confirmed back in it was like October of last year.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so this high, I don't know, the exact wick, I might be wrong, it's a weekly chart, but it's about $174. So if you look at this on a weekly chart, zoom it out a bit, where it made a top is the last big resistance level, or sorry, the most recent big resistance level from last year on that downward trend. So big level at 174. That might be, if it can break from there, you've got another leg higher when you pull up that weekly chart. It's not really anywhere close to those all-time highs just yet, but you're at a major milestone at that 174.
You want to talk about major milestones? Check out VinFast right here. They have big news for their Vietnamese mobility shift is a major win for VFS. Starting July 1st, Hanoi will ban gas-powered motorcycles in its city center, kicking off a nationwide move towards electric transport. VinFast is in prime position to benefit. With major investments in EV tech, battery production, and charging networks, it has a strong head start. While others scramble, VinFast is ready. And this policy only sharpens said edge. And you always want to play with sharp edges.
Especially
I've
if you're
learned that
on ice.
if you're on ice there, we always have to get these stupid blades sharpened
How
pretty
often?
much all of the time.
How often?
Like every 7 or 8 times, depends on, she knows. So we stepped up, she has black blades. So they're like.
You got to educate me on that, because
they just look dope as hell. And,
and that's fine too.
And apparently they're just better quality. So less wear on them.
Hold on a second.
Apparently
when Gia sold you on them, did she go?
No, she didn't.
Did she go?
No.
Dad, I want these new skates. They're dope as hell.
No, actually, I just want her. I just want her to be. I just want her.
Sweetheart.
Like someone told me there was gold blades. So as soon as I see those, yeah, man, no, everything.
No, but
everything,
they're probably
anything.
smooth and
That's
acceleration.
very smooth.
Resale value.
Yeah, good resale value as well. I don't know. I just got to note that.
Did you make that part? There's no gold. Gold skates.
Yeah, there's gold blades, my guy. And again, they look dope as hell on the ice. So we'll be doing that. Yeah, what the hell even is that? I didn't know what all these things.
What the hell is even that?
As well, but shout out to VinFast getting that edge there with the mobility.
Oh yeah, that's why we're saying edge.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, all right. Let's just. Did we talk about Google yet?
Next one.
No.
Whoops.
Well, then let's just go do it, Sharif. What are you waiting for?
No, it's because I started asking about it.
I know.
Google had a blowout report, as we know, guys, last week. Great look for Google, but there is one still persistent headwind for Google, and it comes to us next Friday, not this upcoming Friday, August 8th. So the next Friday, we're expecting Judge Amit Mehta's verdict in the antitrust law case filed by the Justice Department. It's expected to be a manageable decision for Google, not expecting a fundamental breakup of the company, but some possible headwind, guys. Google right on the day.
To clarify, it's the blades that are gold. It's the boot. She's got the CCM boot where you can put on different colors, and she has her number on her skate and all that. It's a lot, but it's the gold blade, Neil. The blades. Like right now, the black. Her blades are black. Most blades are silver. So, anyways, Neil's looking them up right now. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I'm just.
But anyways,
I'm a little dumbfounded. That's cool.
Yeah. I want.
No, they look cool.
Yeah, man. We see them on the ice.
Second, let me,
blinding people out there. Anyway, she was on the ice today as well. Shout out right there. She's starting her. I don't know. Yeah, probably. Oh. Yeah, I don't know. Those are them. Yeah. There's so many different blades.
I'm sure there's like a million different kinds.
Yeah, $239. So that's for quantity, one blade. No, normally the blades actually.
How are you gonna sell one?
No, I think they're $200 for 2 blades. Okay. I think. I don't know about those.
Latex.
24 karat. No. Hold on a second. I'm just talking about gold colored. Like I don't know. All right, now I might be in trouble. I need to use more shares. These futures better tank.
See, but this is where I'm saying like actual gold.
What the hell is even that?
You can't be putting any. No, see, it doesn't.
I want
make
Bitcoin
sense.
blades. I want like orange.
Anyway,
Bitcoin
let's move on because that just makes
it's diamond blades.
Hurting my brain,
guys. Diamond blades.
It's hurting my brain. That doesn't.
I'll find them for you. I'll show them to you when she's wearing them on the ice. And by the way, shout out to Trader TV Live sponsoring one more time the practice jerseys for her and her team. So we'll show those very, very soon.
Bitcoin Blades.
Bitcoin Blades, yeah, that's what we're gonna have soon, man. Shout out to Michael Saylor. You wanna hook it up, man? We'll have MSTR all over their jerseys. Up to you, my guy. You let me know, Mr. Saylor. Hit me up in my DMs. But yeah, Google today. This one took me by surprise. I had it written down. This should have been a losing trade, but it never took 195, which is what we had written down on our sticky note. I thought this was, we're frozen. And our quotes are frozen right now. We'll wait for a reload, but let's just keep talking as these, sometimes you just get a little burst and then they're right back just like that. It's a matter of fact, Jack, we are back. All right, so the idea behind this was, I thought day three play, you know, the Google report, we were all sitting here. I remember when it went down that day, I put a bid at 180. I was like, if this is gonna go down on that kind of a number, then I like that stock and I wanna get it at a discount. So the first day was pretty good. We did have enough, even though it's gonna show red, I'm not sure why, but it was actually down on the day maybe, but didn't close below that last candle. It should still be green. But at the end of the day, it's now coming back in. I thought after 3 days, we would have had a nice little bump up in Google as people realized that that was a hell of a quarter, but not really, man. It's still fading off. I remember that first day we liked the 197 break. That never came in either. So right there, Google continues to be sort of a dumpster fire a little bit. It's not down that much. It's not like we have to complain about it, but it was up 5% if you remember the day of. It closed only up 2%. Then we had another sort of ish day on Friday, didn't do too much. And now today we're basically, in my opinion, you're in, I mean, I know you bought it, I still like the stock, but we are in trouble of sort of covering this back up through 190. Then I think you can get back into this 180 area where we buy the dip. I mean, this is a stock now that has proven to us with more money spent on CapEx, Gemini's picking up speed as well. We talked about their daily or their average monthly users, now 450 million, I believe. Was it billion?
It was 450 monthly.
Yeah, right there. So it's a nice number. Trying to catch up with ChatGPT. There's going to be more than one winners. YouTube's blowing up.
Got a lot working.
Although our stream seems to be going down on YouTube, too many viewers. So thank you guys for that. Hit the like, hit the subscribe.
It's because you guys love the show too much, which is
That's
not.
what I'm thinking.
Well, you know what it is? The ratio. Your stream starts to fail if the ratio between viewers and likes drops too low.
Yeah, that's true.
So if we don't get that, like at least 20% of the viewers have to like it, or we start to get like a buffering stream. It's just one of these things we've noticed. So hit the like and hit the subscribe. But you were just pointing out, look, I did pick up some Uber. I had sold some Uber. I have Uber on my mind. At some point this afternoon, we're going to talk about Uber. I had sold some Google for Meta, which turned out to be a good decision. But then after the strong quarter, I wanted to get some more Google back. And I was deciding between that and IBM. And so far, not so good because Alphabet's down. I mean, IBM just hasn't done much, but it is holding rather nicely. Actually, it's a daily chart I want to get to of Alphabet, where you see it's still in a good spot, holding above 191. But you know, IBM gave you a big dip and seems to be making a low. So from like a dip buy strategy, it's like maybe I could have just gone with IBM in front of the 200 period moving average, but I still like Alphabet. I think they're going to be absolutely fine. Sometimes, you know, the street just takes a minute to like something or to realize that they like it. And you know where they might find that perspective? When we get all of the other big names this week. Because I think as we get some numbers on Azure, as we get some numbers coming through in AWS, there's a decent chance that we might be looking at Alphabet's quarter in an even better light by the end of the week, which is not taking anything away from the other Mag 7 names. So maybe that's what's happening here, where they're just waiting a minute to see what else is out there before realizing how good the quarter might have been.
Yeah, no, I don't think we even need to talk ourselves into some of these things. I mean, I think that right now the NASDAQ is telling you everything it needs to be. It's pretty much green. I mean, the chart of the NASDAQ is absolutely ridiculous. And actually, on that note, let's go a little more macro here. I mean, here's the SPY as we talk about that. But actually, let's just talk about the ES. ES/U. Oh, we got to go to VisionWave. What the hell? Sorry about that, Sharif. Okay. I was just going right into like, let's go. I want to talk about the S&P 500 and some of their price targets. Let's do that after we talk about VisionWave. This name, Sharif, was losing his mind earlier on today during lunch hours. Trading the off, he was hitting the bang, he was trading the boom, he was hitting the goat thing, he was doing all this. Although I think I hit it, not him, for that, because he was like, what the hell is Brendan doing with a lamb and money coming out of its rear? But let's go find out from Sharif the story.
Is it sheep? It's not a lamb. Is it a lamb? I don't know what it is, man.
People say it's a lamb. You know, some people say it's a lamb. There's commenting on the temperature outside as Adara returns. Okay, we got to let this man get out of here, so let's wrap this up. It's VisionWave right now, and it's Sharif at the screen.
This one was an aggressive move, boys. I can't see the chart, Assassino, by the way, over here. Yeah, but VisionWave getting a $55 million capital injection to scale its AI defense solutions. The market liking that. They like both those headlines, defense and AI, very much in vogue lately. But be careful with this one, guys. Off the highs, D-Wave.
Yeah, this is a squeeze du jour.
Okay, D-Wave.
I don't have any. I guess because it just came out, we don't have any float data on it. So I would probably have to go back to see how much they issued. But the story here is 220 plus million in volume. Like, it's not like it's going from $3 to $12 on, like a couple million shares traded here. So personally, I don't even care what the float is. It's whatever it is, it's chewed through it probably at least 20 or 30x. And it's so impressive that it's cutting my mic.
Cut his mic immediately.
What?
Neil.
Someone saw his
All right, so yeah, VisionWave. We'll go back to Neil for that in a second. I'm not really trading any VisionWave today, but one name that did hit a downside play there that some of you will be talking about is Big Bear AI. You know that I've been talking about Big Bear AI for a very, very long time, probably too long, to be honest with you. And it's reacted quite well, though. It's been a good trade for my account. I think it's been a good trade for many of you, and I just hope it continues. Big Bear AI, though, right now, just a little sleepy action there. This bear needs to finally find its way, and when it does, I believe it will wake up and growl once again. But through $8, we got to find out when Big Bear AI is actually reporting. So let me do that right now, BBAI. Remember, even as they were starting to rip higher, we were unable to find, actually, I don't want Big Bear AI in the news feed. I want to know the details. We weren't able to ever find stories. It was always like talking about the airlines and everything like that. And it was just kind of like the deals that they had in the airports. And if I go through, you're going to see not too many headlines here for them at all. This goes back to July 17th right here. Firefly has an initial offering. How does that have to do with Big Bear? I have no idea. But if we can go to the high side right now, they are reporting in 14 days. Now remember, these guys still don't have a price to earnings ratio because they are red. They don't make any money. So we're going to wait to see what winds up happening. There's a tangible book, minus 13. So yeah, not a great stock right now if you're looking at a competitive landscape. They're getting beat. They're getting beat by many other names. But for right now, they have a 31% short float. I think Big Bear AI continues to work for the long haul. And it's a stock that I'm going to be buying more on any weakness. And I think you're suffering some right now. 14 days. So Monday, August 11th. So we got a couple more Mondays to go. And then actually, when does Palantir report? Again, they're the 4th. So next Monday is Palantir Day after market close, followed by Big Bear AI. So we'll go back. Neil's mic is now fixed, and we'll see what you have to think about on VisionWave, not VWAP.
Maybe you go long at VWAP?
Yeah, maybe.
This hasn't seen VWAP since about 10 o'clock. Oh, wow, that's not about 10 o'clock. That's actually exactly 10 o'clock was the last time the stock was at VWAP. That makes sense to me because it's either here, like it's pulling back to where the secondary break happened at 940. So either you get a reversion there technically, or you wait for it to pull in closer to the 750 to 8 range. And the thing about a stock like this is VWAP, the line on the chart, doesn't matter. Like you're probably looking at a 50 penny range around where the volume weighted average price is to look for some kind of a mean reversion. So I'd see, ideally some kind of a trend down that, breaks the trend as it goes into the volume weighted average price, and then you catch that kind of a long. So that's what I'd look for on VWave. I'm pretty sure early in the day, and I'll usually do this, if I think there's a chance of doing something stupid, this never ended up halting even once. Usually I'll pay for locates while they're still cheap. Because here at Real Trading, a lot of times what will happen is if it's gapped up and starts going, you might be paying like a couple cents per share. And then later on in the day, after it's up like 300% instead of 100%, that might triple or quadruple. So if you think you might want them, a lot of times it makes sense to just go ahead and get them. Speaking of the name that reports on the 4th, which you just said, who else? Somebody else on the 4th that we were just talking about. Is it AMD?
Palantir.
No, but in addition to Palantir, because for some reason I have another company in my mind on the.
Big Bear was the next week.
You know what? It doesn't really matter. Okay. And I want to bring Uber up in a quick little second. So just Palantir, it's very range bound since it recovered off of that news. Now, a lot of times when you get like a news flop and then it pulls in and the prior support turns into resistance, the expectation is it returns to resistance or support to resistance and we get like a secondary flush. That's not really happening with Palantir. So if it can't break, if we just keep bouncing, at some point, probably just going to take what we can. Because it just doesn't seem to want to flush off of this. Like a lot of times, you'll see it, we've done it with Boeing before, like comes right back in, it'll come to VWAP, or it'll come to that prior high, tag around, maybe try to consolidate, and then flush back to the low on that news. The other thing to consider with Palantir is it might also just be tagging the top of the channel to go back to the bottom of the channel before making some fresh highs. Like how many, it has done this 1, 2, 3, I mean, 4, although it didn't get to the bottom of the channel, this would be the 4th time if it were to tag top and then get all the way to the bottom. That's at 142. So this stock could drop $13 and still be holding a ridiculously steep trend going all the way back to April. It just puts some perspective in it. So maybe just some excuse for profit taking. I did want to bring up Uber because it was this morning when it was pointed out that Uber was, its PE's 15, but its 4P is like 30 or something along those lines. And there is some buyers du jour at like $90 here on Uber. There's a 50 periods at 89.50. And I think this could be a thing this week anyways, looking for the dip. It didn't really give you the dip all the way to 90. On Friday, it dipped off 90 and ran $1. It dipped to 90 on Wednesday, and the next day was a massive $3 breakout day. And if you see, like, there's all these bottoming tail wicks and all this stuff down at the 90 level. So there's a chance that it breaks the low today. If it does, then you get into that 90 range where I'm looking for the reversion on Uber. And I feel like as long as the support's there, this is a stock worth taking a shot at. Where it seems to, if it gets to 90, not close all the way down there, which means you want to take a look at the long if it does get there. But 50 cents away on Uber, but there's a chance we could see that this afternoon.
What's up to Charlie? We'll wait to see if these futures want to come back down. I did want to just talk about real quickly because we have the U contract right here. So 6,400. I was actually just noticing this morning that Oppenheimer raised its year-end price target on the S&P 500 to 7,100 right now. That's about an 11% rally from here in the second half. I think it can get done. So 7,100 there, a high for the ES, which of course would take out brand new all-time highs. I mean, we're already at all-time highs. We took it out already. So we had Michael Noss on earlier today talking all about that sort of factor. In the fact that once these things get going, sometimes it's hard to slow them down. So, you know, breaking through all-time highs and creating higher highs is sometimes a good thing, and that's what we've been seeing right now with the market as we continue to float higher through there, and that's a 7,100 price target. And again, what they said was 84% of firms or so far have beaten resilient macro conditions. Obviously, with all these tariffs right in our face, we still continue to go higher. So on some kind of settlement or certainty, I guess is a better word here, in the market, once we get that market certainty, probably a reason for this move to go higher. And again, this week is such a key week. I mean, we'll see what they say with earnings, and we'll see what that non-farm payrolls number comes with. And then, of course, we're not expecting anything for the rate. So that's still to come. But then Morgan Stanley also comes out and says, hey, man, we see the same kind of thing in a recovery. Their target is actually higher, 7,200 on the ES rate there. So we were talking earlier about, will this market ever get back to all-time highs? Now we're talking about it going 11% from here. And we already are at all-time highs. They're talking about driven by adoption, AI adoption, obviously some weaker dollars, tax savings, and then the pent-up demand in consumer discretionary. So once a lot of this is settled out, we'll see. That's Morgan Stanley's case there. And then again, Raymond James saying narrow market breadth right now might be a problem because the Mag 7 seems to be lifting many of these markets upside. And we've seen Nvidia make huge moves upside as well, creating NASDAQ moves higher, creating the S&P 500 to get higher, but you still see names that are in the IWM.
I was going to say, wait till those cuts come though.
Yeah, exactly. The lower sort of, I mean, just lesser names, lower market caps, small businesses are in the IWM. So if you're going to look and say, you know, which market has been lagging, it is the IWM, which is the Russell 2000. And a lot of that, Neil, of course, is because of, you just said it right there, the rate cuts. We haven't got those yet. And when we do, we're supposed to get 6 this year.
You know what? Here's the thing with the Russell. I don't see the Russell waiting until there's actually a cut for it to break. Like it's been seeming like it wants to break out, but at some point between the next few months when we do get the first cut, I think we get the breakout before that. So you got to be on guard for it, because unless something dramatically shifts in the expectations for the back half of the year in terms of getting that rate cut, the markets don't wait around. Once they get more of the certainty, they're forward looking. And IWM has been just consolidating for this long time, ready to go make its run at the high. And I'm just simply saying this is a trade that you want to be ready for before they actually make that first cut and they put that arrow in the quiver. There's one thing, look, in terms of where the money's been chasing, I mean, I shouldn't say the money, because there's so much more money in the equity market than there is in ETH. But there was a disappointment a lot of people have been disappointed Bitcoin gets to a new fresh high and just goes sideways. Consolidating when you made a big move is actually a good thing. It's better than all the crazy, just give it up so we can go higher. No, sometimes I like it when something consolidates. Well, ETH, I thought this would be a pretty constructive week, let's put it that way, where you'd make the run at its high. So far, not really that good. There was no test, it got to like 39.5 and then immediately pulled back. So I think the crypto news really slowed down after the crypto week. And a lot of times we go in these cycles, and we've talked about this with Bitcoin. I meant to go to a daily chart here. We talked about this with Bitcoin in particular. It's like you go ham and then you make a range and then you stay in the range for months. And then we break again, and then like we could be in this, well, we made a new fresh high, but understand that we could be 110 to 125 for a few months. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think we get complacent sometimes in fantastic bull markets, thinking that you only go up, and if it's not going up quickly, that somehow it's a bad thing. But you've got to remember, if you're consolidating sideways and that's boring to you, then trust me, you're not going to like upward trends, because that's the best part, I think, about an upward trend, is I'd rather see this than, this on Bitcoin. So ETH still has a chance. I think it's a little bit disappointing for sure. And I know a lot of people have been mentioning SMR in the chat, some of the nuclear names pulling back. SMR is only down 2%. Ooh, it's actually starting to break out here.
Back up, right?
Yeah, break back up. But it was NNE. I didn't see any specific news, but NNE is down like a ton, like 9.5%. So I don't know if SMR was a sympathy play, and now that NNE is slowed down, maybe it's going to start back into the upside. But that break might have already happened on SMR. I want to see if I can find some levels on this to try to, because I think this can be a long back into 51, but I think you wanted it as it was breaking back out. And volume, yuck, that's not very good. That's not a lot of volume here on SMR either. Very disappointing volume. Let's go up to Adara. She's got an update for us.
Not sure if this is the news on NNE, but this is some news on NNE. Friday after the close, around 5:30 p.m., the company filed for a mixed shelf offering of up to $620 million. As you can tell, it didn't really drop pre-market, but it did drop here right off the open. Back to you.
Oh, see, you know what? And this is thank you so much, Adara. And this is why Adara is the best, because when I saw the drop happen this morning, I just searched for news this morning, so I didn't even notice NNE. Weird that it was a delayed reaction, but I guess that can be edge. Oh man, that's the thing. Like if you know that there's an offer, like they file a mixed shelf, and there's no reaction, and then it breaks, and it does nothing except go sideways, and then breaks down right away at the open, well, it could just be late reaction to the news, and you just jump into it. And the second leg down was like $3 on this thing. Yeah, that's a bit of a missed opportunity. That did happen somewhere else.
There was something last week where we saw this story and then it reacted late.
Yeah, you're like, why doesn't it go? And then it goes after.
Yeah. Oh, is it Mara? No, Mara did have an offering as well, something like that. Okay, so just quickly here, we'll talk. We're getting into the hour of power now. It's only 2:45. Lots of time left, guys, before we have to worry about anything. But right into here, it's just AMD looks like it wants to break this level, 173.40. So I think we're going to add to that long. I'm going to get something. I'm going to get this last piece out. Remember, the stop was right here at VWAP if we broke below. Now VWAP keeps changing, so we're getting a little bit higher. now as this continues to go. My only hesitancy about breaking that is that this is what the futures look like right now as we continue to keep going lower. I mean, there's the high, there's the high, there's the high, and we keep on getting lower highs as we go down. So like I said, man, I have no idea what any of these patterns are called. I leave that to the experts, you know, Sharif and Obi. Keep talking about wedges, this and that, and, you know, potato wedges maybe. But other than that, you know, this just keeps on going to the downside. I'm just looking at straight support and resistance, plus trying to get a feel for the market. And I think we have a pretty good one generally on what's happening. So I'm going to remain short here. It doesn't necessarily mean that I think AMD is a short. We're still in the long, but I am going to start to get out. I'm just going to get it all out. What is that? That's so let's go to 25 right now for advanced micro devices. I still am short. Let's just go to 20. I still am short the NASDAQ. So if we do break higher, fine, we'll tap out of this one. It's a nice $3 winner anyways on AMD. It's just the last of the Mohicans, the last of that trade right there. Once we're out of that, and then we'll look for the long. So let's get out of it first, and then we'll look for that long, breaking through 173.50. I like that trade there on advanced micro devices. So that's just a little bit of a trade that I want to talk about. IBB, of course, healthcare, biotech right here. Big news today, obviously, with the tariffs coming through. So you can see a downside push there in IBB, but not much. They've already tried to break out, as has the one that I'm looking at. I mean, it's not breaking out, but, you know, nice gap up there last week. And also XBI is the other bio. Healthcare, Spiders. This is Spiders. The other one was iShares. This is bad. There's some analysts coming out today saying that this tariff of 15%, regardless of what it is, could add up to $19 billion in costs for many of these biotech names, because that's what Europe has a lot of biotech. You know, like when Pfizer and BioNTech, they are producing all those vaccines. A lot of them were being produced in Germany and throughout.
Merck's in the tank.
Merck, they're all there. Whatever, Sanofi, they're all, many of these companies located in Europe. So if we're starting to apply more tariffs to these companies, there it goes, by the way, AMD, let's go, man. That's $3 clean right there. That's a face slapper. We just get out of AMD up there at 173.20s. But anyways, what I was getting at was just, this is not necessarily a great sign for some of these healthcare names. And if you've been in this, not healthcare, biotech names, healthcare, again, UNH, Centene, they have their own issues. But you're just at a level, and I just wanted to bring it to everyone's attention because we're finally back. You know, we start to buy this thing at this $100 mark. This is like one of those names that we sort of sat in for a very long time. Was able to buy some more right here, and then we did get a little bit near the bottom. We're still going to be red on the name. I'll have to double check it maybe later tonight. But just an idea that we're at the 200 period moving average. We failed, and guess what? I mean, we're bumping up against that one more time, so I wouldn't be surprised if that happens again here, this time with news, and that's tariffs. Not great for bio names.
Not good at all, but you know what's good for savvy Canadian traders that are looking to boost their exposure? Well, you can tap into the NASDAQ 100 and S&P 500 with Beta Pro's 3X daily leveraged ETFs featuring built-in FX hedging. This aims to amplify short-term market moves. It'll minimize the impact of those currency swings. And so whether you're feeling bearish or bullish, then these ETFs are built for you active traders ready to take on the market. Read the full risk disclosure in the prospectus at betapro.ca before investing. Scan the QR code you see right there in front of you. That's a shady looking bear on that little picture right there. Are they all? Yogi Bear was always pretty chill.
They shady to me, Yogi Bear.
Yeah, he's always stealing them picnic baskets.
Thing, like, yeah, do you really trust like Marshall or whatever? That's a bear.
Too. I mean, gotta eat too.
I don't know what is, but he has a good point behind him. Yes. That is fire safety, of course.
But by the way, Palantir.
Don't listen to Fire Marshal Bill, by the way.
For Fire Marshal Bill,
he should not be visiting schools and talking about fire.
If there's like a comedy skit, there should be a Hall of Fame for this. Like there should be like a Hall of Fame for the best comedy skit characters of all time. And Fire Marshal Bill is way up. I mean, Tyrone Biggums is pretty good. Right, and Fire Marshal Bill by Jim Carrey is one of my all-time favorite.
I mean, yeah, Fabian never even seen this before.
I mean, are you
Yeah, this is a problem. I mean, this is what I mean. See, when you're showing up at hospitals and everything like that, and you're talking fire safety, and you look like this, maybe not the greatest Who is this? Oh, Bruce Jenner. Yeah, maybe they look like each other there as well. But maybe I shouldn't. I don't have safe mode on. So maybe I'll get out of there. But that's Fire Marshal Bill. I like Homie the Clown.
Homie the Clown was
a little bit
way
better
up there
character
too.
than Fire Marshal Bill. But you guys can look it up. Shout out to In Living Color, of course, and. We always talk about them, so we'll sort of get off to the Fly Girls and everything like that. Tommy Davidson was there. All the Wayans brothers, David Allen Greer, they all started with it. Like, homie, don't play that, and try to get that.
SNL ain't got, and you know what?
SNL's all right.
Here's the other thing: you can thank In Living Color for the fact that the Super Bowl now has ridiculously hot halftime shows.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because what happened was In Living Color, when at the height of their fame. Like right when it was like the #1 comedy show in all of television, the Keenan Ivory Wayans decided on Super Bowl night that they would do a live episode during halftime, and they crushed it. Right? Like they got all the ratings. Everyone switched over because nothing happened, and like whatever. And then the NFL's response was a word, and I'm not sure. I think it was. I think the next one was either like Michael Jackson or Prince. They just said, okay, fine, that's how it's going to be. We're just going to get literally the biggest star the next time. And then they just kept going with these massive stars. So, although I don't think they get paid.
Netflix did that with, they did Beyonce.
Yeah. Let's go to, before we go to Adara, just very quickly, Palantir broke trend, I got out. So this is why I like to use trend lines. Like ultimately, sometimes you just want to hope that it'll break down and keep the trend. But when it broke the trend line, there's the break. There's the open of the bar above the trend line. If I was going long, I would punch long. But if I'm short, I'm punching out when it does that. So out and looking for the next opportunity, which I don't know if it's going to be that Uber or that SMR. But let's go to Adara.
Is Oracle. Just keep an eye on this one. Moody's apparently affirming Oracle's credit rating here, but adding negative outlook. The most recent rating I could find was the same credit rating, but it was a stable outlook. So stock not reacting too much here. Either way, ORCL may be on watch here. Moody's with the credit rating for the company. Back to you.
Thank you, Moody's right there. So the market's going up. So I think I'm going to track this up to luck right there because AMD just fell off completely right there. So we got out on support and resistance levels. I mean, we just called this up and was looking at it because I was like, I want to go long. So let's get out of our position here in case it fails. And that's exactly what happened. We only had 2% left of our position. So we take the $3, put it in our pocket and run away. And now it's giving us this move. And maybe we think about breaking lower. What about Tesla? So maybe I'm changing my mind. I don't know. The NASDAQ's still underneath this little line that I drew. So maybe we watch out for that. I know Neil just talked about Palantir breaking through. Tesla bounces again off of what was a support level down there of 326 and change. We didn't break VWAP. I still think a 330 break could be happening there for Tesla. Lots of time left. It's only 253. So earnings, yeah, for sure. 66% of the S&P 500 now trading above their 200 period moving average. 66% trading above their 200 period moving average. So there's lots of, we talked about the stock market breadth. 66% of 500 sounds like 330 to me or so companies that are above that level. So that's good, right? We got to sort of take the bad with the good. And right now, 2/3 of companies above their 200 period moving average. And just to give you an idea of what that looks like on the SPY here, daily chart on the SPY, that is the Spiders ETF. This is the S&P 500. So you can see right here, you're going to be well above the 200 period moving average. That's the 50. So the 200 is going to be somewhere down here. There it is right there. So 585. So you're well away now. And I actually think, and again, going back to what Michael said this morning, that we are drifting away from this 200 period moving average. And generally speaking, unless you get a dramatic move like this, the tariff talk or liberation, whatever, I guess that's all tariffs. When that starts to come down to the downside, that's when you'll get it. But we don't really have any incredible stories really recently that have bumped this up, other than the fact that these tariffs are coming in a little bit later than expected. Earnings have been great, 84%. That's 84%.
That's what matters, man. It's the earnings, baby.
Yeah, exactly. Shannon Sharp. 84% have gone up through beat earnings expectations.
You say Shannon Sharp for 84.
Isn't he 84?
Yeah, but I mean, Randy?
There's many guys. 84 is a very, very popular number.
Yeah, but I mean, you say Randy,
Javon Walker. These Packers, man, you're never going to forget those guys.
Here's what I will say to that. So that is, sometimes there's something to be said about when you plug, when you say a number, plug the best guy. But the other thing that is high level is plug a dude that only real fans are going to remember.
Yeah.
and only real fans remember Javon Walker. You probably had.
But Randy Moss probably is the biggest name.
That was a despicable
I
act.
love Randy Moss. Randy Moss is probably the greatest receiver of all time. I mean, Terrell Owens is there. Obviously, we're not going to hate on Jerry
Rice.
We're not going to hate on Jerry Rice, but physically, Randy Moss.
Let's be
the way
real.
He was, and Terrell Owens. The way
If you need
Calvin Johnson.
If you need a touchdown to win a game, and I'm like, this is the final play.
Plus the attitude those guys
someone's
had.
got to go in, and someone's got to go and run around and just.
Randy
win.
Moss just jump over the guy.
It's
anyways.
Randy Moss or Calvin Johnson.
Yeah.
Like Megatron.
I'll wear my Megatron jersey tomorrow. I
have Megatron. They would just line two guys up in the red zone. He would be here. They wouldn't even wait till he gets 10 yards downfield to double team.
Yeah.
There'd just be two dudes at the line of scrimmage,
Yeah.
and then he'd still win because he was just an absolute freak. It sucks that injuries mess that dude up, but that's just how it is. Injuries.
What
always
Pat did go? He doesn't agree with us here.
Who does?
I don't know. He said stop it. Straight cash homie. That's where we get the straight cash homie thing from.
Look, man, I'm not saying Jerry Rice's career is unbeatable.
I mean, he had Montana throwing him the ball.
Yeah, but come on,
Steve Young.
At absolute peak, like which one on one route, which one of those guys at their peak is going to have DBs like crap in their pants? Randy Moss, in a way that nobody else did. Because it's just like he's so fast.
Not only that, they were playing in that era. Like nowadays, you touch Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson, and it's an instant flag.
Put hands on.
You can't do anything. I mean, these guys were getting mauled down there, and still.
And Jerry Rice would eat in this game too. But
making all. Oh, Jerry Rice would be incredible right now. Well, anybody with hands now is great because you can't.
True.
Guard that. All right, so let's go. Okay, I'm going to run this again. Shout out to my guy over there, Fabian. Hey, look, if you're in the chat, you're in the chat. Great. Get in there now. If you're not, hit the like, hit the subscribe. I'm about to refresh this. So this right here, we have 101 right now submissions for Tesla. We've got 53 submissions for AMD and Nvidia. We've already been down this road, man. Let's get some new ones. Let's go fresh start right here. Let's see what's going on. I actually do want to look at Apple real quick. So as you put in your symbols right now into the chat, you're going to see them start to populate. So right into there, someone just put in SoFi. So there it is. SoFi catches it as the very first one. Yeah, shout out to Hulk Hogan, man. Sad moments, of course, as WWE rolled out pretty much like all the old guys there to pay their respects. So we'll do it as well to Hulk Hogan. So shout out to that and his family. And apparently, that was a little unexpected. So obviously we had some losses last week. Ozzy Osbourne, Theo Huxtable, which his name is
Malcolm Jamal Warner.
Malcolm Jamal Warner. Yeah, I was missing the name there. But right now it looks like, SoFi. So look, I think the bull case for SoFi is realizing, obviously they got their bank charter. I forget the company they got it from, but a while ago, a couple quarters ago, and they bring more customers in to their platform there. I think that, again, a new finance name, SoFi, we've seen Robinhood really take off. SoFi is not really as much into crypto or those kind of talks as Robinhood was, but again, much more of a bank. SoFi, I think there's a bull case for them, and that is we'll have to see what their accounts on that they hold, how those have been growing, what kind of assets under management, that's what we're talking about there. And again, when you have that bank charter, it's just a matter of getting the clients in there. So once they do that, I think that you'll see SoFi start to make a run again at the highs. But heading into tomorrow's report, again, I just feel like whenever you see this, now you've had basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if today winds up red, which it probably does, and SoFi reports tomorrow morning. So somebody probably knows something, I would think, but just by looking at this. So I would say there would be due for maybe a little bit of a pullback. There's been some selling at these highs. If we were super excited about the name, it could potentially have continued through. I mean, we saw Google. Google had a very similar run. I mean, look at SoFi's run right there. And then, earnings happen. Well, Google, again, similar kind of movement there. They had 10 or so straight up days. And then their earnings happened. And the earnings were actually pretty good, but we still fading off right now of that earnings call. So I would say SoFi, they're going to have to really produce. You did that math earlier on Perplexity or whatever it was, saying that it was X amount of the.
Disappointing.
Their up moves were like 3 or 4%.
Not even. It was 1% and 2%, I think.
So,
and then it was 6% and 10% the last year on the last 4 earnings, unfortunately, for SoFi. So what that tells me is, well, good quarter, bad quarter, the risk is to the downside on the stock. That's just how, especially when it's going up like this. Did you say Apple's moving?
No, I mean, someone said, is there a report on Apple?
But not having a good day today.
We do have Adara over there. If anything does happen, look, I mean, if there's news, you're going to see down more than 0.3. Yeah. But for right now, Apple comes out with earnings, and I'm going to get it soon. I'm going to call up our earnings report list from Adara, who gives all the best information. Right.
All of the rest of them.
No. Well, yeah. It's after. It's Thursday, but
actually Wednesday is bigger than Thursday.
Yeah. So, is it?
Is it? That's close.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, as far as
Microsoft,
Apple, Amazon, those are
Apple's on Thursday.
Yeah, we got that. Thanks, Adara, for that one. There's Apple right there on Thursday. Thanks, Apple. So thanks, Adara. Adara, Apple, Amazon. Say that. Adara, Apple, Amazon. Adara, Apple, Amazon.
Adara, Apple, Amazon. Oh, no.
So got you on one time right there. But yeah, so, and then Coinbase should be really interesting there as well as strategy comes through. Riot. So there's a little bit of crypto talk there Thursday after hours, that's for sure. We had news on Mara and Marathon's right there. So they're going to report tomorrow night with me. Tonight you'll join Neil, Adara, and Michael Noss. Tilray and Waste Management. So nothing really big going there.
Don't sleep on Reddit on Thursday.
No, I love Reddit right there. We talked about them. I think that they're another one of those new technology names that can really put out as far as sales numbers and advertising. Reddit, I think, is that next thing. And I'm only there for sports, but and then this is a big one here.
Roblox on Thursday.
Roblox on Thursday? Where's Roblox? Oh, right there. Roblox. Yeah, okay.
I didn't even notice it this morning.
I don't know. I didn't even notice it.
Was that there this morning?
Yes. She did this a long time ago.
I know, but that's wild. We were looking at this morning.
It's literally here this morning. I did not change it. Roblox is a really weird logo to put in things, so I acknowledge it looks weird, but it was either that or their little block and hope people knew what it was.
Yeah, well, it stands out either way. That's why it boggles my mind that we didn't notice it. I'm just kind of curious, on the top of my head, like which one of those has big. Like I think Thursday probably has more total market cap than Wednesday does. If I'm just
Thursday than Wednesday, well,
maybe not. No, because Microsoft alone, that's the problem.
I mean, Robinhood's big now too. I mean, Ford is not that much. Qualcomm's right there. Altria.
If you take out the Mag 7 names, AbbVie's pretty big.
Yeah, this might be bigger. I don't know.
Either way, it's
this is a big one. Friday night, Friday morning, actually, Exxon and Chevron, if you're interested in any of the energy space. So anyways, shout out to Randy, yes, and everybody that's trading energy because it's going to be a good look, I think, anyway. Or some of those, no Emmett Smith mentioned. We're not talking about running backs, my guy, so don't worry about that. All right, so Emmett Smith is one of, the better running backs, I think, of all time. I don't think we can deny that right now. Right? I mean, statistically speaking.
Okay, look, obviously.
I mean, they plays with these guys. I mean, whenever you play with these guys, it's always tough when you play on such a huge team.
He had a great line. Barry Sanders was better.
I mean, when you're always winning, yes. I don't think.
LT was better than Emmitt Smith.
Most people will say that. I mean, the thing is, Emmitt Smith was very lucky to play on a Dallas Cowboys team that was always ahead. He got the rock a lot. And
he's a great player. He's deserving of the Hall of Fame and all that stuff. Like everybody, like it's.
As a Packer fan, I have 2 Detroit Lions jerseys, Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson.
Everyone loved the funny thing about it. As a
Packer fan, I shouldn't have those. But
Detroit was so bad for so long that I find that like most people, regardless of whether you liked the team in the division, you didn't hate them.
Right.
Because there was no point to. So a lot of people like Detroit players because they were never.
I love Detroit because we love playing them.
And they were they were close to us. So like it's one of a couple places that you can go to from Toronto easily. Yeah. Obviously, Buffalo being one of them, and then you go see the Detroit Lions, which is much different now. They're going to disappoint this year. I don't know what the over-under is, but my gut says under on Detroit, losing both their coordinators, but whatever.
That's what I said already. Remember, I said they're going to get nowhere near 15 wins.
I still think that.
I said they might miss the playoffs.
But I still think they're going to finish second. I think they'll disappoint.
Playoffs?
But I still think they'll be second in the division. I don't think they're dropping to third. I'm not giving the Bears that much credit yet, and I don't know what to make of Minnesota starting a guy for his first time ever. So I think it's going to be the Packers, I don't know, like 12-5 or 13-4, and then maybe 10 or 11 wins for Detroit, which most people will be disappointed. But I think the Bears win like 7 or 8, and everyone's like, what? It didn't happen again. Let's go back over to the market. Palantir, no. Spot earnings.
Yeah,
Jeff
they report
says,
tomorrow morning.
Yeah, Spot's tomorrow morning. These guys could split. At least maybe they don't care. Maybe they don't care at the end of the day. But this has been, look, as great as their run has been, it resembles Netflix when you pull up their chart in a certain way. Whereas we've been making this next leg of all highs, this name has still been steady pulling back. Like if you look at Spot, and I'm not like they're not the same thing, but it's almost as if they're being treated the same in the market when this loads up. Netflix may be a little bit worse, but like you've been making all those highs and then you break trend and you're still sliding to the downside. So maybe it's the earnings that could cause it to get a little bit of a bounce, but the trend, like the short-term trend in this particular case, is going the other way on spot. Now, I'll be real with you. I know multiple people who have, and Brendan actually, I think it was Brendan that was even saying this to me. He's like, you still have Spotify? He's like, you should be thinking about YouTube Premium and dump Spot, because I know a lot of people that have done this. I keep hearing people that dump Spotify. Maybe they dump it for go to YouTube, or maybe they're in the Apple ecosystem and they just go, whatever, I'm dumping Spotify because I only need Apple Music. And I don't know if that's really starting to affect them, but that's what I'll be looking for, because that might be a heck of a tailwind or headwind for them, as these other ecosystems are so fantastic and they make it so easy for you. Amazon as well. And apparently if I talk trash about a stock, my mic starts to crack up.
Yeah, so no more talking about bad. Okay, so yeah, we'll get Neil's mic fixed right there as well. All right, so here goes the NASDAQ. So we're freezing again. I don't know, I'll have to tell. We don't have anybody working here, but we keep on freezing. So I'm gonna write that. I'm gonna write that in the chat. Oh, you did already?
I'm in already.
Okay, freezing quotes here. So here at Real Trading, we actually do have a, basically if something goes down, we have an internal chat that we can talk to right there. But I'm going to take this moment right now. We are on prop firms, prop floor. So we're trading other people's money right now at Real Trading. And no better of a time right here at 3:07. Let's just go over and see who made most money there on Friday. It is Money Talks time, afternoon edition. All right, so here we go. It's called Trade Information Portal. Here we have different alerts, different names here, different deletions or things that have been happening. TMX trading notes, whatever. OTCX. We have Jeff Mendel on all the time. These are some stocks that have been trading, otherwise known as just search it yourself and find out the top names. But he does send that through to all of us, so thank you, Jeff, for that. My favorite part is compare your profit. So this is now you can see how much our top traders are making on each market. So we'll zoom down here. I haven't looked at this today, so yeah, I'm going to say a little disappointed on these numbers right now. I'll zoom in just a little bit there to give you guys a quick outlook on this. So these are all in US dollars, and then these are the markets that were traded here at Real Trading. So we have over 67. Is Nvidia making a move down? So is AMD, or is it the other way around?
There's like a big offer, 176, the high of the day on Nvidia.
Oh, Nvidia's all the way up there?
300, I don't know, it's about 300,000, give or take. They're just pulling it down. So you can tell 350K, 360K, probably even bigger than that. So that's within cents here, pennies, I should say, on Nvidia. Super strong, right at the high of the day. But it's not a huge level. It's done 93 million shares. So what's a few 100,000 into that? Like, it'll take it out, no problems asked. I almost always at this time of day would rather play the dip after the break, especially given the fact the market's weak and it's trying to break out. So I could see some selling jumping in. You're already starting to see the scalp traders take advantage. Like if I go back to the level 2, see that? It's like people start throwing chunks in the 90s to just short in front of that big level. So someone had it was 32,000, now it was 10,000, they got filled. Someone did the same thing at 96 and 95. So there's the scalp traders, as they get stopped out, sometimes what'll happen is the break of the even and that initial move has more to do with the shorts in front stopping out, and you don't get instant buyers above the price. I'd rather play the dip here on Nvidia. These are also fresh all-time highs, by the way. Every time, when it breaks 176, that's another all-time high. If you get tired of saying that, then, well, you don't own the index and you don't own Nvidia, which I'm sure we all do. You have it somewhere. I had this conversation with a cousin. It's like, oh, I miss the Nvidia run. I'm like, do you have you have mutual funds that have a US tech? It's like, yeah, it's got most of the stuff in the queues. I'm like, so you have Nvidia. I mean, you might not be getting the best of the run, but it's not like you have nothing. So, have an idea of what, it's crazy because there's a lot of people, and I've had this conversation as well. I know a lot of people who do not, it's fine to be in mutual funds and stuff. I started out conservatively with mostly index kind of stuff myself. But they don't know what's in what they own. They have they just don't care. I'm like, just just figure it out. Because what you might find as you're looking at the fund that you own, this one's doing better than that one, and you find out the reason why, like, okay, well, it holds more, like, just whatever. They kind of more exposure to the AI play, and you're like, oh, I like that. Maybe I'm going to put some more into AI in my TFSA or in my swing account, tax-free savings account, because you've just been observing what's been going on inside of your own managed portfolio, like what's been performing better, and that could lend you to some ideas. But not knowing at all what's in any of the funds, it's okay to let someone else do the decision making. I just feel like you should at least have a concept of what it is that you hold. To say you don't own any Nvidia, I'm like, yeah, you do. You probably have like at least 5-6% exposure to it for a lot of people.
Oh, that's why we talked about 5%. Yeah, I mean, some people don't like to even hold that much percentage of one individual name in their portfolio. So, but yeah, good call there, especially if you're invested in the Nasdaq. We talked about how 37% of this move higher has been the Mag 7. So, and Nvidia's in there as well. Just quickly here, as we go back, I just want to see if there's any sort of unique. Nah, there's not. So, not a huge day there on Friday, as trading's been pretty slow here in the summertime. Trading's been fine, but traders take Thursdays and Fridays off. So right there, NASDAQ, New York, some traders, if it's a slower week. I mean, even some of our friends here up away at Cottages, you guys probably know people as well. But 4,000, basically New York and NASDAQ. So I'm surprised. There hasn't been much Europe on here lately. So a little disappointed to see that. The NASDAQ does make a move lower there as we're starting to come back in. So I'm just taking some more out here as it's 312. And I'm also going to go long on a 176 break. I don't know. Above the 50-period moving average, momentum looks good. We know that we've missed it. So as opposed to like what we would take here, I'm gonna take about half. Like we're freezing again all over the place on these quotes right here. So I'm not sure what to trust or what not to trust. But for right now, we continue to have these experiences. So I'm not sure what's going on. But there goes Nvidia. We'll have to watch. There it goes now, 175.92s. Okay, so that's what's going on right there. I did want to say energy sector today. I mean, if you're going to look at crude oil, CL, we've been looking at the September contract. They're $66 and change, up 3%. So a nice move up there for oil as it's going to keep on trekking, I guess. We talked about Friday with ExxonMobil and Chevron. Still seems to be wanting to work itself out right now, as there's been a run on everything. Gold's up, silver's up, Bitcoin's had a good run as well. So just on a lot of asset classes, the NASDAQ and the ES both at all-time highs. So oil trying to battle back as well. We did have that dump off the Iran news, or that bombing, and then the oil prices have really been supported. They didn't let it necessarily fall down too much. It gets into the 50-period moving average. So we're right at those spots again right there. There goes Nvidia. So Nvidia does break. So again, pretty small. We're long at 05s right now. I was going to give it back to this area, but we could get that break and fake. So if it does that, fine. That's why we're not in too many shares. But I don't really want to hold this too far back below this 175.50 area. It's done these moves before, so it's not like we're scared of this. It's broken levels and faded out again. I mean, it broke us on 175. That was our trade earlier right here. We broke 175, came back in, held the 200-period moving average, only to blast higher and sort of take off from that. But again, these lines in VWAP haven't necessarily held that great. So let's just stay on course right now. I still think if we break maybe below this 175.30 area right into there is when we'll stop out. Let's put another piece of risk on at 175.60 if we can get that low, and then see if it does want the rest of the day move. Remember, we just did cover something on the TQs here, so I'm pretty happy with that trade. And we did get out of AMD basically at the high, not basically, at the high of that most recent move right there. So now, we're long Nvidia, flat on AMD, and that's been a switch up because AMD is up 4% today and Nvidia is only up 1 and a bit. So we'll see if there is some sort of a pullback here on Nvidia. We'll use that to maybe get longer. I'm almost wondering about just getting out at the 50-period moving average to not make this even worse, because even if you start with a small amount of units and I add to it, by the time we get down there, I'll have 1 or 2 units, and then breaking lower it's not great. The AMD trade, for example, was 4 units right off the beginning of the day. So I'll probably just take 1 or 2 here on Nvidia. But yeah, we're losing it. Let's try right here at 75, which if we zoom back in, that's been where we've gotten into again. We'll take a shot there. I have half of a unit right now. Probably going to put on 1 by the time it gets down to there. And then let's just use this 175.50 area as our route. I'm not going to go all the way down. So risk off 175.48 there. We'll get out of 100% of it. We'll set our order and forget it. That way we can watch this thing happen. It kind of sucks because we're making money on the futures going lower right now, but they're not really moving. It's Nvidia. See, again, then we just froze again. So
I keep putting,
right.
I'm letting them know, but it might actually be our floor. It might just be us.
Okay. I mean, no one's here.
And just very quickly here, I'm actually bidding Paul Coffey myself in front of that 77. It's just the prior high in Nvidia, but we got a super chat and we got another question I wanted to get to. So there's your prior high. I want to bid out in front of that on Nvidia. And the thing about it is, like our quote might stop, but our execution is fine. Like just because you don't see it get to a price, you still get filled when it gets there. Your stops still work, all that kind of good stuff. So I think we're going to be okay. But before I get to the super chat, there was a question. Where was it? Jeff Josie, any news on Lilly? There's no specific news on Eli Lilly, but remember, with pharma tariff all in everybody's mind, there's been some weakness there, and just a little bit of momentum to the downside. It seems like here going on in those names. Also. Yeah, I don't know that there's anything more than that going on with Eli Lilly. It's still above $800. Like it's down 0.7%. So I think you're just getting a little bit of weakness. We all know tariffs are coming, and the pharma industry is probably the most scared in the short term because some really ridiculous numbers have been thrown out there. Ali Anwar, thank you for the super chat from Canada. Canadian dollars. There we go. Where are you from? Here in Canada. Feels like all the bad news for UNH is in, and it can only go up from here. Profitable company at 2 times revenue is very low, in my opinion. So here's the thing. I was one of those people too. And I say was because I got out of this effectively for flat, really. Why is this still Lilly? I went to UNH. There you go. This was all true when this flushed in May. And this is May we're talking about. When a dead cat bounced, and if you bought it the day after, you got, what price did you get, everybody? You're in somewhere in the 280s, let's just call it, okay? So you could have made money. What did that give you, 10% at best? Something like that? And then what is it doing now? Breaking right back underneath those levels. Now, me personally, I'll be the first to admit, I'm not buying a stock at 280 on a swing the day after it had gone down $100 in 2 days. It was cut more than in half from the highs. I didn't think I was looking for an 8 to 10% gain. And I certainly wasn't thinking it was not going to do anything. And then it did. So I just basically held on to that swing and didn't make it lose anything, which means I could have put it in something else. But yeah, maybe all the new bad news is baked in. But then why is it still falling down? It hasn't even retested that low from May. So I'm not with this sucker until it gets back above the 50-period moving average. I'm willing to put the trade on again, but not until it's showing me the 50-period moving average, which it couldn't do before. I'm done with. And you know what? What annoys me about it from myself is it gave you that 10 and pulled back. When it did it the second time, you could have just bagged the 10%.
Right. Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. When it rejected the 50 period the second time, it's just like, come on, man, what are we doing here with UNH? I don't disagree that there isn't a trade coming somewhere in UNH, but it's annoying. That thing is annoying. So Nvidia, I don't want to see. It did break. There's no size there the second time through. Here
it broke again? No.
No, it did, but it got back up there, and there's no size the second time on I said AMD, on Nvidia. So there's no size there, but let's see if it can hold that top. I have no idea. There was something else I wanted to get to. It was probably Uber, which I don't think is going to be today.
Oh, Nvidia.
Uber broke the low of the day, but it's not going to get to that 90 level. It has to get to 90 to kind of spike some kind of a late rally. I just froze again.
Yep.
So yeah, to get to 90, that's the area I'm looking for the buy in Uber. Maybe it'll be a tomorrow thing. I don't think we'll actually get there this afternoon.
Yeah, we've reported all of these freezing, so they're going to look at it right now. And again, we've had so much work done around here. Could just be cords, could be something, I don't know, but bear with us if you are watching. So there it is, man. We reloaded the position down there on Nvidia, so let's go. Let's see if we can get a nice little bump up here to the north side of this trade, man. I like the trade a lot right now. We just need to retake this, which I think we're doing right now, and then actually take it and go. So here we go right now, nicely in the money now. A dime, so we're just in money, a dime. We like dime pieces around here, so we'll take a another piece out right now at 03 if we're lucky enough to do that, which it looks like we are. And so far, so good, yeah. So there's a nice little trade for me. And Neil has the same, well, something similar anyways, for me on Nvidia. And again, like the trade moving forward on this name. Let's just see how high it can fly. And so far, nicely cooking back up to the upside on that reload. We said that we were going to watch out for that fake and break. And again, the volume is pretty high right now, so I don't mind what we're seeing here in Nvidia as we are now back up, all hail the king as we get back up to the high end of the trade there on NVDA. Again, really, really like the name, like the stock, and yeah, let's just keep on going with it. It's my only red stock though today is Nvidia. We've traded Tesla. I mean, Tesla was pretty huge. It could have been bigger, but we got stopped out there. We actually talked about it. Wish we hadn't, but we did. So that was a good one there. AMD is the banger of the day for me. That continues to be an awesome, awesome trade there. Google, we're lucky to get a winner on this one. Able to take profits. We got a very good dip by there at 193. Then it makes a move all the way back up. So there it goes. Nice move there on Nvidia. And then the TQs, come on, man, give it up for that. Shout out to Charlie and my friends over there as we get lighter and lighter and lighter. I'm actually canceling all my offers. We're not getting any more on the TQs, right? We're just getting out right now to the point where we only have 20% left. And then that's that. And then Nvidia was the losing trade where we went long on that first break of 175 and then just were able to get out. Our worst outs are right here at 40, but it just ripped back up. We were able to take profits. So it was kind of a mixed bag there. It was a red trade, but we'll see if we can, and we're already made up 25% back already of what we were down just on what we're doing right now. So let's go Nvidia. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. This is a good one right now as we go higher up now on NVDA. So let's go and get this one popping here on the north side for NVDA. A great trade here to close out the day. I might just get out of the TQs right now and just work on this NVIDIA trade. So far, so good. We're at the highest spot we've been at all day. So let's see how many of these we can hold heading into the close.
Absolutely. They keep on going. And look, Ali Anwar, I think it's a 3% dividend you mean on UNH. If they pay 30%.
30%? Woo-wee! Woo! If they did that, that stock would be worth like $5.
No, I'm saying, like, if they had to pay a 30% dividend, a 30% dividend, it would be game over. Like, that's junk. That's not even junk territory. It's like that to be another degree. But no, you do get a dividend while holding it. So it would be incorrect for me to have said that if you held, it's fine. I said that you didn't make any money if you held that and didn't take any profits. Like you might have got one dividend payment in there. So that's great. You made 3%. The market got to all-time highs. You could have bought anything. I mean, I'm trying to think of something that you could have bought just about anything. That's all I was really getting at. But I do understand, and that's not bad. To be able to get some cover in a dividend certainly can be. Oh, that's what you meant. They pay out 35% of their earnings as dividends. Yeah, they do give back, which is a good thing. And don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that UNH cannot be a good vehicle in the future. It's a stock that I used to own. It used to be, well, actually, I would say before I bought Eli Lilly a few years back, UNH probably was the biggest, well, one of the 2 or 3 biggest non-tech things in my stocks in my portfolio, and I don't like the business they're in anymore. I'll leave it at that. Let's go over to Adara. The market's not really doing much. It's almost 3:30. I want to have a look at some of those early look imbalances when we come back.
To talk about UNH a little bit there, this is a company that's reporting earnings tomorrow, and it's had a few scandals. Another company that's reporting earnings tomorrow that has had a couple scandals, to put it mildly, is Boeing. And I want to explain this infographic. So basically, this tracks the stock performance under all of Boeing's CEOs that have served in the new millenniums. Yes, that's right. Boeing has had 8 CEOs that have served at some point from 2000 to the present. Now, I do want to clarify here, of these CEOs, 6 of them either resigned in disgrace following a scandal or served in an interim capacity. The 2 interim CEOs are Gregory D. Smith and James A. Bell, but Condit, Stone, Cipher, Muhlenberg, and Calhoun all resigned immediately following some kind of scandal. Now, the one clear exception here would be Kelly Ortberg, the current CEO. No major scandals as of yet, and he's generally considered to be doing a fine job. But James W. McNerney, the stock's, I guess, He had the second best stock performance during his run. He doesn't quite get off scot-free either. Now, he did not resign in disgrace, as you can see, but he's been called one of the worst CEOs in the history of America since, and that is because a lot of his production-related decisions have been attributed to the crashes that Boeing had that were fatal in 2018 and 2019. So basically, Boeing is quite the messy CEO history. If you want to look at the infographic ahead of their earnings report, check it out on X at TTV Research. Back to the guys.
We'll just show it after. Yeah.
All right, so
Shout out to Southern Shore.
I know, but you just had an idea with Fabian, but I don't know if I like that idea. You want to do that? I don't know if we should open it without the guy here. I know we could clip it and show it again, but I mean,
Southern Shores, if you're watching, let us know by saying you're in the chat, because we got this. You sent this gift to us. And you mentioned on Friday that you wouldn't be able to watch the show. So we didn't open it on Friday because we wanted you to be able to see it. So if you are in the chat, or if you are watching, just let us know via the chat, and then we'll be able to open it for you live, because that's part of the fun. Like, for you to be nice enough to send us something.
I thought he messaged me on. Well, now let's check.
He messaged on Friday. There's been nothing.
Oh, he messaged on Friday.
But early Friday. And then that's why we were waiting around.
Yeah, and it came Friday late or whatever.
It
came on the midday, and then it was like we didn't open it back. I'm watching, says Dre Mucker. I don't think that's who you are.
It's not you, Dre Mucker.
Dre. Trade day only makes Easy's payday.
Glitter? It's not glitter.
Oh. Sorry, Sweeney Todd.
Just give him a butter knife?
I don't need that knife. I don't need no knife, man. Just use bare hands, you know what I'm saying? Just rip it up. Gangster style?
No, like either tearing it, or I want to use like a real knife just because it's a real like.
No, it's a good idea. I mean, I would rather, I don't need to get any damage to these hands. You know what I mean? How else am I gonna?
Just give it the.
You mentioned this morning about
being the people's elbow,
being long on 3 names, unless you're an algo. I was long on all 3 of these names right off the jump, man. We're talking about that's one of my favorite closing finishing moves there. But Randy Savage is off the top rope, right? That's a good one. You can't see me elbow. Come on, Cena, like elbow drop. That's not. All right, a 250-pound guy jumping off the top rope, landing on you with an elbow. All right, man.
You got to give it up to the Undertaker.
There's so many great finishing moves, man. I don't even like the tombstone. But then the Undertaker moved over to the choke slam, and then he had.
I'm talking about the tombstone.
Yeah, I know the tombstone is legit. Yeah. But he had the choke slam, and then he had something when he went into biker mode. He had the last ride, which was kind of like a big, super crazy power bomb. But Neil, wow. Let's go. We only have 1 unit on, but there goes Nvidia. Nice move there to the upside. There it is, man. Nice move. I don't know. It's a good one for Nvidia. We bought the dip, we bought the break, and boom goes the dynamite for Nvidia. Nice trading there to the upside there. Whoopsies on Nvidia. I don't want to get out of too many of them. It's kind of dancing around a little bit right here on Nvidia. I thought I just punched out a little bit more there. I guess I did not. Let me put an offer right there at 21s. Come on, Savage. Give me those. 21. There, I don't know why I'm not getting, oh yeah, we did have quote issues, but the quotes apparently are now resolved. So there it is. Thank you for hitting the like and the subscribe, everybody out there today, right here. We only have 4 likes so far. No, just joking. I have to refresh this. There's 4 there, now there's 5. Let me refresh this right now and get a quick little look. Who's that handsome gentleman right there? What's up, Elon? But there it is, 536. So we said 10%. That's what we're at right now. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, get going. Especially if you have these Nvidia trades. If you had that futures trade, we're still in the TQs as well. And then tonight, man, it's all about earnings again. We have PayPal tomorrow morning and SoFi. Those are the big ones. Tonight, not so much. Waste management and...
It's light on earnings because we need to prepare ourselves for how big this week is. Visa's in the morning as well.
There's another one tonight. Anyways, I can't remember.
I believe Visa's also in.
It is. It's an AM.
The morning. Yeah, the morning's big tomorrow. But let's be real. We got a lot to go over here today. You got the crazy run in the chips. Sorry, Visa is after the bell? Yes. Oh, okay, good. Although, I'm not as productive.
Just to clarify, it's after the bell tomorrow for Visa. It is not today.
Okay. I think it was tomorrow. For some reason, I thought it was before the bell tomorrow. But that's because SoFi is the one that I care the most about. Yeah. And look, there's nothing against it.
Oh, the one tonight was Tilray.
Oh, no. You got it?
I just got this one. But I mean, that's because I was on.
I was going to do
this one.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Huff Puff Pass tonight.
That one, I like that one better because it's not us directly endorsing that although it is legal. It's legal now. And it's legal.
Yeah.
as
Oh yeah. We're walking
my
around
favorite
Boston,
character.
Massachusetts. There, legal there. I don't know. There's many states. How many states are not legalized right now, Adara? Maybe we could. I mean, I could just ask ChatGPT that. But yeah.
Ask Perplexity. I trust Perplexity more than
Oh, you do? Is that the one you go to? Is
How
Perplexity?
many?
How many states? I'm going to go with 39
Many states.
states have marijuana legalized. That might be high.
So apparently, 24 is what I'm seeing. This is Wikipedia. 24 states for recreational use. If we're talking medical use, 40 out of the 50, so 80%.
Ooh, 40. I said 39 right there. So 39, so 20-something, 24 there, recreational, 40 including the use of medicinal purposes. So Tilray has medicinal wing as well, so we'll wait to see where they report later on.
They're just
Vivian really wants us to open this
the
thing,
short
doesn't
floats just aren't what they used to be in those stocks, and they don't have the continuation.
bottle opener?
Ever.
I did have
Again.
many bottle openers.
There's
around
a bottle opener. Look on Sharif's desk. There used to be the one that.
Where's the one from Singapore?
I think no. The Singapore,
hell cleaned up my stuff?
The Singapore one was on Sharif's desk last time I saw it.
What?
Yeah, they stole it. It was on their desk.
Oh, someone stole something from me. Oh, what a
Yeah, no,
surprise.
no, but I'm not making. Like, I'm pretty sure. When I was sitting over there, I'd swear I saw the
Let
button.
me go into my box here. This is full of sticky notes. These are all the past sticky notes of all
I
time.
told you it was there.
Found it?
Well, I was sitting there on Friday.
You got the
I knew
Doritos
it.
there? Is that the pineapple? Is the Jarritos a pineapple? Yeah, see, I knew that you had the pineapple ones in here. Oh my God, there's so much stuff in here. Oh my God. This brings back memories. The memories. This is Valeria right here. Valeria gave this to me before she left. This is a Valeria Benum. Shout out to Valeria right there. No idea where that's from. Okay. Oh, yeah. Bringing this thing back, baby. So now this is from our last World Series.
Why wasn't that on the desk before?
This is what I'm saying. I got to go
used
through
to
this thing.
That was on the desk the whole time.
But see, now I might have. Oh no, maybe I should put it back.
Oh no, because we've been
Because
on
now we're in first place.
Yeah.
So this is an original troll here from 1992. You can see on the back. I guess I must have ripped off the price tag there. That's probably going to be a mistake right there. It still has a zip tie. Never been undone. This poor troll right here. 1992, the second last time we won the World Series. Of course, 93, the first time. And again, so here we go. World Series, Game 1, Toronto lost to Atlanta 3-1. We came back in Game 2 and won 5-4. Game 3, 3-2. Then 2-1. Then 7-2 for Atlanta. Then we finished off in Game 6, 4-3, of course. This is when we faced Atlanta.
And
this was not the Joe
we
Carter.
were robbed of the greatest defensive play in World Series history. The triple play that wasn't.
It still also has the Major League Baseball sticker on the bottom. This might be good, man. This is probably like a PSA 1 or something. Right, but our record, Neil, 96-66. That'd be tough to beat,
That
but
wasn't even the best regular season team we ever had.
Ooh, this is made in China, by the way.
Of course it is.
Shocker.
Of course it is. NU has a 5 million buy-in balance early look. The SoFi of South America. Or is it just Brazil? Whatever.
Well, Brazil's their big footholding there.
Are they everywhere in South America? I don't even know the answer. I know they're in Brazil. I have no idea if they're outside of Brazil, but whatever.
They're probably in Chile. I think that's where Fabian banks with.
The only big imbalance on the early look that is not a penny stock. Like GIB, that's penny stock, those are from this morning, and then SLB, HP. So NU, maybe there's something there, we'll see. But Nvidia just lost the trend. I hopped out, but it's also 3:30, so it does make sense. Ooh, IHOP. I had a bad experience at IHOP recently. Yeah, my daughter really, really likes IHOP.
Yeah, pancakes and stuff.
Yeah, and my parents, my dad spent some time in Florida.
He's feeling IHOP or no?
They love going there, so anytime we go out for brunch, we go to IHOP. But we go to the same one. They've been fantastic, and the last time it was just not a very good experience. So I was disappointed. But what was really cool about it, the manager, I think, could tell. And so at the end of our meal, the manager came by.
IHOP's like a Denny's?
What's that? It's sort of like a Denny's.
Okay.
But the manager comes by and then says, "Oh yeah, that's right," and then goes to my dad. You were the person that, because he specializes orders. Like, can I have this? But can you make
right?
Okay.
And
he goes, "You're the person that did that a couple of weeks ago." And he's like, "Oh, you remembered my order? Yeah, that was so unique. It was really cool. We should think about making that like a
Oh, like a menu item.
And that simple little thing that she did, remembering his order from a few weeks ago, completely changed my, like, I was disappointed with the day. I was like, you know what, good for you. We didn't have the best experience, but you remembered us from a little while back, put a smile on our faces, and that's good customer service right there. So shout out to whoever that manager is. I don't know what your name was, but at the end of the day,
his name was Stugat.
at the end of the day, it's all about, you could have not had, they could have been late with the service and all that kind of stuff, but as long as you show you care, that's good enough for me, man. It ain't gonna be perfect every time. Show me that you care, and they did, so hats off to them. But a little bit of a pullback, as we said there, in Nvidia, but that's not the stock I wanted to go to. Market might be pulling back, Nvidia might be pulling back, but guess what got through VWAP and is almost all the way back from that headline in the middle of the day? It's Palantir, through the volume-weighted average price. It might not be making an all-time high today, but, I mean, technically, did it?
Palantir?
Check that. No, check that. It did make an all-time high right at the open, I think. It's close. Okay, barely. It missed making a new all-time high by about 10 or 15 cents right at the open. So it might not have made a new all-time high, but remember, they bought the dip on bad news or perceived bad news. Sometimes that's the best indicator that you will ever see to a bullish stock. The reaction to when a sell event happens, for whatever reason, what do they do after? There wasn't much continuation on the short. It never gave you more than like 30, 40, maybe 50 cents, and you're right back up to the top. So buy the dips on Palantir, seemingly just works over and over again.
Yeah, what works over and over again is this platform, eSignal, continues to be the one that I trust the most. And we have eSignal platforms all over. All the traders here have them. We're on the Recap Show. We're sponsored their eSignal charting platform over there as well. We recommend you guys hit the QR code right in front of you right now to get your first month for free of the eSignal platform. All you have to do is figure out what you'd like to be entitled. And that's, again, another huge benefit of the eSignal platform is the fact that you want to trade Japanese names, you go ahead and grab those. You want to trade the Hang Seng, any sort of an index there, especially with Europe starting to dance around now with these tariffs. You can go ahead and trade ASML over on the right exchange, right? Chart them, have a look at what's going on eSignal right now with that screener. We've had a lot of good feedback from many of our viewers that have hit the eSignal platform, including Joe right here with the options. He was impressed with some of the tools that were involved with that. So make sure you do grab that. Again, great customer support. And worst case scenario is you scan that thing, you grab your month free, and you say, I don't like these charts, you know, and or they're too expensive. They are expensive. Once you start playing around with them, you'll see why. So we want to give a big shout out to our friends, our good friends over at ICE and eSignal as they continue to provide us with all the data. And that's basically, you know, we had our quotes freeze a little bit there a couple times, and I can always tell if it's an internet or not because it's the only time eSignal's ever down is when we don't have that heartbeat. So
and I could pull up my quote like right now on eSignal and see like whatever stock I'm looking at. If I have Nvidia up, I can just go Nvidia. I mean, I have Google. You can see the books moving.
Those are level 2s right there.
That's level 2 right there.
Or level 1 maybe. Is it level 2? Oh yeah, there's multiple levels. Okay.
Yeah, it's got all it seemingly has all of the books. I mean, I never see any books missing. I've never done the direct comparison. Here at Real Trading, we have access to pretty much every single ATS or gateway that's out there. So our level 2 quote is going to be as good as you can get. But at eSignal, you can add all of them as well. And well, the best thing about it, another thing about it though is you don't have to have them all. If you don't want to see every single book, like maybe you only trade on technicals. You just want to see, okay, well, I just need to see like the major order book. I don't need to see the level 2 depth. I'm trading only on technicals, and I'm going to execute where I execute, and I don't necessarily care about all that market depth. It means nothing to me. Then don't pay for it. That's another good thing about eSignal. You can decide what it is that you want to entitle to as well. ATNF looks like it just reopened here. Wow, another halt to the upside, open and retaking the high of the day, 33%. This
another halt
is a week 2 runner. So last week, it was doing a bit of a pullback, and now you're breaking out the highs one more time. This is actually a big-time trend break going. So yeah, this has got some big levels coming in. You get, like, it got to like $6 in here. Looks like it's the big move. I just heard the word treasury with ATNF.
Out of the news?
Yeah, as I was talking, I've refreshed my bit, and I'm hearing stuff now. But shoot, as I was talking, I heard them just say something about ATNF, as I was going over, so I didn't quite catch the story. That's the only downside. I find it's never loud enough. I have it turned up, and it's never really loud enough here.
The Benzinga platform?
Yeah, let's see. It says something about traders circulate the company's homepage just updated and says announcing our plans for an ETH treasury, an Ethereum treasury. Because they updated their website saying they're announcing plans for an Ethereum treasury. All right, well, I don't know. I never like continuation on those moves. I feel like you get that initial pump and then take your profit, and let's not think that that's going to be something crazy. I wouldn't be buying that up here on that. Just they updated the website saying they're going to do something that a bunch of other people have done, and they already just went 30% on that. Let's go to Adara.
A little overextended.
Not only are people circulating that they've updated their website, I can confirm they've updated their website. I just went on their website announcing our plans for ETH treasury. So one of many smaller cap companies that is planning going to the crypto treasury gang, that is ATNF. Back to you.
What an interesting business plan.
I mean, if it's going to work, it's going to work. I mean,
it bumps the price. It bumps the price.
DoorDash and Uber coming up with something here. Seems like he's trying to go a little upside there. I don't know exactly what that deal was there with Uber and DoorDash. As I was trying to listen to it, but also trying to listen to Adara plus you as well at the same time. So not too much volume. If anything, there was a volume spike right there on DoorDash. I don't really see anything happening on Uber right now, so we'll puff pass on that one as well. Heading in earnings tonight, Tilray, as we just say that, these names just continue to be a disaster, really. Marijuana names, although you're on a nice little run here from 40 up to 80, now back in almost in the midway here of 68 cents. Let's see if they can put something together, Tilray. I mean, it's been really it's going to look fine there, but as we zoom back out, you'll see it's just all downside, man. And I don't think we'll see what the short float is on this, probably catching about, I'll say 18 or 19%. Let me just double check before we go off on there. I think this would be the reason for it to go upside. And what you're looking for is some of these beats that happen sort of out of nowhere. And then, wow. I hadn't looked in forever. 18% short float right there for Tilray coming at 4:30, so it may not be with you guys. But, oh, no, sorry, that's the conference call. Okay. No, 68 cents. So we'll wait to see. That would be the squeeze point. Yeah, good point there. If it ever gets above that $1, you could see some, NASDAQ delistings all of a sudden starts coming into play. I don't know if they've gotten that delist notice. I mean, they've been under $1 now for quite a long time, since February.
That's 180.
So it should be more than, it has to be under for 180.
I think it's 180.
You're getting close to that right now. It's just 256 in a year, and since February. So still a little ways to go. But they're not going to get anywhere near that. I mean, if they get a 30% bump before they even get anywhere near that compliance listing of $1.
They got work to do.
Nvidia did drop down a little bit. I'm going to take advantage of this move back up, take some more out here at 02. We did similarly take advantage of the TQ's move down. So it's kind of funny, like we're making money on the short rate there of the NASDAQ and on the long of Nvidia. So we're just kind of doing them both right here and just trying to show that, hey, if you play the right stocks in the right environment, you get a winner regardless of what the NASDAQ or what the underlying market is doing. We'll go out near the high of the day for myself. We do have an LFT because Nvidia does go into the 20s there, and we cleaned out up there in the 20s, but now that we've taken some out down sub 176 right there, it's giving me a little bit of a L from my highest spot, but that's okay. We know where we're at right now. It's a good day. We haven't made that much money since our very first push. Let's have a quick look at what Tesla's doing. Nice fade for Tesla there this afternoon. So again, bouncing off VWAP. It's only 43 right now, so we have 17 minutes, but more importantly, only 6 minutes until it bounces.
I gotta correct something. I was incorrect.
Okay.
It's 180 days to regain compliance that's my mistake.
Once you've gotten the letter.
Once you've gotten the notice, it's 180 days to regain compliance. And Tilray did get it in March. So they got the notification, and thank you to someone corrected it in the chat, and that's where I was able to remember. It is 180. But they got it on March the 25th. So whatever 180 days works out to from then. So Tilray's already on notice. That means that if it gets, remember we talked about this last week, if it gets close, especially at the end of the day, there are usually some interested parties in having it close above $1. So when you see it get above 90 and it has a chance for a late day push, and you happen to see some size on the bid, I will rather blindly join that size. It happened on Mullen for several days in a row, and he had a few good trades off of it. And again, in the situation, you're not just saying if it gets to 90 and it's 3 o'clock, I'm punching long. If it gets to like 90, above 90, and I see like 1 million shares on the bid, I'm punching the penny above it and just holding. And if that guy leaves, then or that order goes, then I punch out. And if it stays, I'm holding to the close for it to get to $1. SMCI is trying to get to that $60 level as we speak, with about 4 minutes to go till the imbalances come out here. There's still nothing except for NU on the early look. So, yeah. Oh, well, this wasn't here before. On wasn't there before, but only 1 million shares for them. It's not that bad because it's a $50 stock. So ON, not really moving on it. And when I mentioned NU having a 5 million share imbalance, I mean, that's a $12 stock. So they're really about the same size of imbalance, maybe a little bit bigger here. And it's not moving early either. So might be a little bit of a nothing burger, but always worth paying attention to any random imbalances that might jump out here, because you can see some big spikes in the next couple of minutes if one of these, like if Nvidia comes out as like 6 or 7 million, just hit another fresh all-time high. Like that's usually the one. If there's nothing happening on the imbalances, your best bet most times is that the active mover is going to be Nvidia. It does so much volume, and it's the biggest company in the world. So that's just where your default goes to. But I'll have that, and I'll have NU up for sure. SMCI $60 is, it's kind of nuts today. I would suspect it might have trouble getting through that if you haven't taken profit with only a few minutes to go with the imbalances. You got to figure there's some profit takers. It's just a big level on the daily for SMCI. Whoops, that chart is not split adjusted, so I'll zoom it in. And we were saying this before, like the highest close this year was about 59 change, and then the following day it opened up just above 60 and failed. So it's really that 60 level that is the big resistance here for SMCI.
Yeah, I got to give a big shout out to Brian Shannon. He was calling that SMCI and sort of a little bit of a breakout there, and it has worked out well for SMCI traders. So again, big ups to my good friend Brian Shannon. All right, so we got out of the TQs just for what Neil was saying. We're now 3 minutes away for those imbalances, so I just didn't want to be stuck there. We got out at 50, so yeah, womp womp. At the end of the day, it's still a good trade. The TQs is actually my P&L number 2 of the day, just off of that one short that we had started there. So it was a pretty decent trade coming through there. We'll have to wait. Nvidia is the one that's sort of making this move back and forth and around again. So we'll just have to wait now to see what Nvidia wants to give us here at the close. Waiting for those imbalances, not much we can do. All I can do is tell you that we have 35% left of our position, so a third of a unit left. We had a full unit once the time we came out here, then it goes back up to the upside. We make some money back. It is still gonna be the red name on the day. I've only traded 5 symbols today. AMD right off the jump was a good one. And again, I thought the market would be a little more jumping today. You're only up 0.19 off the EU, and you're actually down on the ES right now, down 1.3. So down just over 0.13%. So very small movement today in the broader market, considering what we had seen overnight. And we had heard that there was the biggest deal ever. Every deal that's made, by the way, is going to be the biggest deal ever. So you have to remember that. And that is according to, of course, the great Donald Trump there, making these deals and making them happen. So a lot of love for that. There's no doubt about that. But I was just surprised. I don't know about you, but I thought the market would be a little bit bigger than this today. So let's just wait.
I'm disappointed in the market today.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that either, that we're disappointed. I mean, we were expecting for a much bigger move.
We've been in a sideways market, and we've had these like one bear, one bull.
Right.
This morning, I'm like, let's pull in both bulls today. And I felt like maybe we'd get a little bit more of that. But it wasn't.
I mean, the ES is down.
Yeah, it's like...
So is the NASDAQ, actually.
We're still in this cycle where you're going to have some really bullish individual things in a given day. Like the chips went today, but, we had some of the pharma stocks kind of suck to a certain degree. And that's just how it is. We never seem to have all systems going, which is fine. That's actually good for
about buying the VIX.
The trading market, but yeah, the VIX is starting to get really interesting for value.
Yeah, man, up 2% again. I mean, this is why I talked about this last week. We got people asking us,
baby.
what do you think about earnings? What do you think about this? And I'm like, you know what? My largest holding right now is the S&P 500. It's not an individual stock anymore. I used to be all about stocks. We flipped that script up right here. Now we're all about indexes because we've just been watching and how great some of them have been performing lately, and just trying to diversify a little bit by getting some more indexes involved rather than, again, more diversification rather than single stock risk. Okay, here comes the imbalances. They are out right now. So let's see what happens with Nvidia. Looks like Nvidia might be a bid. Unfortunately, I have them on my screen now. ETHA as well, a big one. I got to get rid of this broker side action and see what's going on. But right there, so we did not get. Hey, what's up, Russell? Lots of work happening there tonight, tomorrow.
Bought those for the other. Oh, here you guys. Go ahead.
Oh, get out of
The
here.
other guys, but they didn't show up. So.
Oh, thanks.
What other guys? Your guys?
Yeah.
Oh, Peter never showed up?
Peter didn't.
Yeah, blood pressure. Yeah, golfing pressure. I got it. Right there. So yeah, thank you for the Timbits. Probably need less of those. But yeah, there it is, man. Timbit time. And those of you that donut holes. Because Neil's having one, I'm going to have one, so then none of us can talk. That's perfect. This will be all-time record viewers. I like the honey dip ones.
I'll wait a few minutes.
Not very professional of you, Neil, to eat on the stream. Where's the training? Of course you can have
You're
one,
the one
Ramin.
that decided to eat at the same time. Anybody knows, if you're watching this show, if you put a donut on this desk, I'm eating it. It says what's happening. Did you drop that? I'm Team Ramin.
No hands.
But we don't waste Timbits around here.
No hands, Ramin.
We don't waste Timbits.
By the way.
We don't waste, I'm just saying.
Sorry about that, Ramin. Here, Ramin, come grab some more. I picked the worst one and threw it at you. The plane.
That is how we get ants, actually.
And by the way, Ramin was like, throw it to me. So.
If you ask to be, you asked, you better catch that. All right.
You'll have another one.
No, I did. I said I was going to wait. I waited until you were done yours so that I could have a second one.
Man, this Russell guy's got us in it. About trading there, over there. All right, so yeah, Ethereum right now, nice upside there for the bid coming out, but it doesn't look like it's
not moving.
It's not doing too much right there. So we'll watch out for that. And then, and again, we did have, I didn't see Nvidia on here. There's Tesla with a slight bid, catching that off of VWAP, so that's really nice. Snapchat again, all right. Snapchat's actually pretty good from the bottom. That $8 bottom has been pretty nice there for Snapchat, especially on the daily chart there. As you see, there it is right there, $8, all the way back up to 10. So what have I done here? Oh no, I moved. There we go. Yeah, so that's it. Not much. Oh, Rigetti there. We talked a little bit about. Actually, we didn't do too much talk today about quantum, but Rigetti's there, nicely done. UiPath as well. IQ, I feel like I should know that stock, but again, not doing much there as well. Looks like Nvidia just going to do this own thing right now. We're 10 cents in the money. Doesn't look like we're going to get much more than that.
Yeah, and look, join us in the aftermarket. We are expecting a monster week in earnings overall.
The biggest of the year.
It's the biggest week. By market cap, Wednesday and Thursday are absolute complete insanity. So today, we're going to prepare for some of that, and no questions asked. We'll look at SoFi, which I think is going to be a big one in terms of movement. My concern, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again, the last 4 earnings on SoFi, if it's up 1%, it's up 2%. When it's down, it was 6% and 10%. And the stock just rallied 2.5 times from the April lows. So it's been a heavy run. I think I would love it. Like, I own a bunch of SoFi, and I would love this to do really well for everybody. But I'm sort of thinking in the other direction here. And that doesn't mean that it'll immediately goes down. Oftentimes, it'll actually be up off the bat. And then it will just spend the rest of the day selling off. Like, it'll trick you into going long sometimes in the day trade. So I think it's going to be a big mover tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised if we did see double digits on it. And maybe a healthy pullback is in tow. Where's my 200 period moving average? There it is. When we talk about being extended, it's a 33% move to the 200 period moving average. And let's eyeball that like 420, I don't know, like 20% move to the 50 period moving average or something like that on SoFi.
All right, guys, today we have to talk about Trade the Pool. With Trade the Pool swing trading programs, you can access up to $40,000 in buying power, and you could buy some more Timbits. You could trade real shares and not just CFDs. You can hold positions overnight, over the weekend. And by the way, the weekend was here. I think he's here today and tomorrow, or it was here last night. The Weeknd is here in Toronto. The singer, of course. I better read this. Thanks to one-time evaluation fee, there's no monthly payments and no hidden costs. Take Vicente J, for example, one of Trade the Pool's swing traders. He's already locked in $23,000 in profits. His top performer, you guessed it, or did you? NMAX. He shorted it from April 20th to May 30th and pulled in 6700. Trade the Pool is giving swing traders the tools, the time, and the capital to thrive. Scan the QR code and enjoy 10% off with Trade the Pool. Of course, I have not vetted those numbers. We just simply tell you what Vicente has been up to. And by the way, oops, we did it again. There goes Nvidia right there.
It's now a buy.
Yeah, there it goes to the upside, man. There goes Nvidia. Traders got to trade. We're trading. We talk about that all the time. There it goes. We were very cautious of getting out of our TQQ trade. Well, that, for once, seems like a good idea, as that's taking out new highs right now, and so does this Nvidia long, man. We did it again right there, out of the blue. We took another trade, man. We took the TQQ short this afternoon, that one, I told you that was PNL2, and then we take Nvidia long, and we just took that again in and around 3 o'clock on that breakout, and there it goes to the upside. A nice trade for us on Nvidia to close out the day. So we'll go 4 for 5. I know you traded many more symbols than me today, but that's par for the course. And I think Sharif, traded a few. Obi, I don't think traded many. And again, understand your style. Do what you got to do. Right now, we're pretty good, man. We're at some nice levels for us today. Hit our goals early and now adding it on late. So again, congratulations to anybody that was trailing some of the positions that we talked about, because so far so good here today as we watch sort of the market go out at, is it at highs of the, no, it's not. I guess we're, no. Well, we're getting close.
We're at the high.
Highs, yeah, high of the afternoon. Basically high since we kind of felt some kind of ways about the market. But there's the break.
ES, though.
Yes, probably green now, right?
No.
Ooh.
It's not. Believe it or not, George is not home.
Not at home, yeah.
Please leave a message at the beep. No, but the ES is not green. It's just today the chips have been strong. It is what it is. Like Nvidia plows higher this morning. It actually wasn't Nvidia this morning. It was actually SMCI and AMD that were the two strongest in the group. Although I didn't even look at overall at the SMH. I got to make the assumption. One and a quarter. Yeah, 1 1/3, 1.4%, and it's at the high of the day is breaking out. But no, the ES, very disappointing. This is what I'm sort of getting at. We get a deal with the EU, and we spend the entire day trending down on the ES. You can make the argument, and I'm not going to draw a trend line because it's 2.5 minutes to go, so it'll be pointless, that we never broke the downtrend on the ES today. You could maybe try to squint and say that you did. I guess late, maybe you did. But disappointing day for the ES. You really had to be looking at the chips. Did SMCI get? It did. On my chart, it's at 60 right now. SMCI with 2 minutes to go. There's 500,000 shares. Now I'm kind of like joking on that last. I love those like glazed. Got 10 bit. There's 500,000 shares on NASDAQ right now at the 60 even level on SMCI that is holding, actually holding the offer. I still have Nvidia up here. But there it is. There's your 500,000, and they're chewing right through it. So it just got filled, and it didn't break. So it went to 01s, maybe like a dark pool printed 01s, but they just fed that order for everything. And now right back down underneath the 60 level. Remember, 60 big resistance on the daily chart, 10% today for this name. Super, super strong day overall for SMCI and the rest of the chips. SMR, yeah, we thought there might be a trade in that, or Uber in the afternoon, but never really found its way. Good bounce back for SMR to get up. It was NNE that was bad. That was the worst stock. SMR had a bad day. NNE with that mixed shelf and the late reaction move, because it was on Friday afternoon after the market when they announced it, and then it was Monday morning when it drops. I've seen delayed reactions to news, but I don't remember the last time it was like over the weekend. Like you had 2 days to decide what you want to do with this thing, and they don't sell it off until Monday morning. But that's something we should have been taking advantage of, because I had forgotten about that story. I got to get up to the desk. We'll be locked and loaded. Adair and myself. We're going to be joined by Michael Moss.
Good.
We'll ask him what he thinks about Tilray, maybe. How can you like Fartcoin but not take a shot in Tilray?
We'll see what he thinks. Right there. Okay.
Maybe
good show.
Tilray will have a
Hurry up and get
Bitcoin
over there. We only
treasury.
have 30 seconds left right now. Yeah, maybe Tilray will announce some kind of a weed coin or something. Nvidia, just the end of the day right there. Nice little winner. Winner chicken dinner. Upside up 1.76%. Goes out near the high, not near, at all-time highs right there for Nvidia. The countdown is now on with less than 10 seconds left. We've got Adara. I want to thank Adara today, as we know that she was partying it up and does have a frog, so to speak, in the throat. 3, 2, 1. There we go. Thank you, Adara, for that one. She'll rush over there, join her and Neil for the recap show as we go. This market recap show is brought to you by Beta Pro X. Thank you so much. NASDAQ winds up 0.3%. ES winds up flat on the day. And Nvidia, we're still in small amount of shares as it continues to go higher up there. What a great morning. What a great afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. We are supposed to get over there ASAP, Fabian, so let me know when it's ready to go. I know Neil just got there. But if we're ready, then you tell me. Not yet? Okay, we won't go quite yet. We are waiting for, of course, Tilray to come through. The ES, again, flat on the day. The NASDAQ up 0.32. Roblox right now starting to get a little bit of a movement there on a volume spike late in the afternoon. Up to 121 right now goes Roblox. We really like this name, 125. Report coming on Thursday for Roblox. So, again, I think we're probably close to being ready. I know Adara just coming back, she got in a little bit of a water there. Blue skies ahead, yeah, man, with all these markets. I don't know, I'm not too worried about the Fed. We know it's a 97% chance that they will stick it at zero rate change, so we'll be at 425 to 450 overnight. That's going to come Wednesday. Tariff on Thursday. Thursday night is the 31st. We'll see about Friday to see if there is any sort of pushback here. Canada, the biggest deal yet to get done. So, I don't know if they... Oh, okay, something's up with Neil's computer. Okay, we can still stay here, or we can go over to Adara. We should flip over to the after show right now. Okay, so let's go back over. There it goes. Tilray should be out very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching. I'm back tomorrow. This is Sean. For everybody else, we'll see you tomorrow. It's Neil and Adara. Ciao.
Hi guys, it is Neil and myself. We are brought to you by Beta Pro by Global X for this market recap show. We will get as well our friend Michael Noss, the Noss boss, as we often call him. We will see him very soon. Thank you to Nimrod gifting 50 Trader TV Live memberships. So thank you very much for the very generous gift. Shout out to everyone who's following with us every single day, everyone who participates in the chat. And if you want to participate in that chat, just got to press that subscribe button. Also, of course, definitely like the show. We are getting 3 earnings names today. Only one of them is really going to be coming during a period where we can cover it. That's Tilray. We're expecting that one at 4:05 p.m. It's already moving, but I'm not seeing any numbers on it yet. Then we'll get NUE. That's set to come at 4:30 p.m. today, though again, the timing of NUE has been very odd, and we're not really 100% sure when or if it's coming.
It's been moving around a little bit of the time.
Yeah.
But you know what? At the end of the day, that's a name where the call's probably going to matter more anyways.
And that's at 10 a.m. tomorrow.
Yeah, that's sort of the idea, because if they're a steel name, obviously tariffs are a big deal for them, and you're going to want to hear what they have to say, or what CEO has to say with regards to tariffs. But you are seeing Tilray moving around just a little bit. And again, thank you to Nimrod for the the 50 memberships. We appreciate you so much. But Tilray, look, it's a penny stock, so when it moves 3%, 3 cents, I know that's a few percentage points, but it's still not much of anything for Tilray. And when your expected move is 21%, and the move last time was 21%, and it's an 18% short float, let's just say that nobody is going to be happy with this small move if that's how things play out here on Tilray. We've seen this earnings season. I mean, the option sellers have been winning a lot because we haven't seen many outsized moves at all. And this would be one with the short float. You think maybe they'd have a bit of a chance there for sure.
He made another earnings name. I didn't have this one on my list, but pretty interesting note. I do want to add as well, Darwin adding an element of this in our chat, so I just confirmed that story as well. We'll go over earnings first. Cadence Design Systems, formerly Lip-Bhutan's company, guys. So the CEO of Intel was formerly involved with Cadence Design. So adjusted earnings of $1.65 per share, beating estimates of $1.58. Sales, $1.275 billion versus $1.261 billion expected. Then we get this story from Reuters. Cadence Design expected to pay over $100 million to resolve the probe of illegal sales to Chinese military university. So, interesting look there. Keep an eye here in CDNS. Clearly the market liking this story and these very strong numbers. I'm adding to Cadence to my list for sure for tomorrow.
Well, that's one of those things. I know it's going to be a spready symbol that you are probably all over there,
Yes.
Adara. But yeah, I mean, $100 million, that's literally chump change. It's almost, well, the percentage move it's up now, it's probably like $100 billion, like a $90 billion company. But what are we up here? $25 from 33. So it's very close to giving you a 10% move. Either way, this is pretty much a $100 billion company that just got slapped $1 billion company that just got slapped a very, very small fine. $100 million is going to be that chump change. But at the end of the day, when you do look at something like this on the higher time frame, I don't know how many times we got to say it, 52-week highs, just highs. It seems like a broken record. We say it 1 out of every 3 days, I think, for Palantir. We say it every day, sans today for the S&P. We say it for the NASDAQ. And we say it for individual names like CDNS here. Cadence as well, just breaking out. We're in a bull market. And your default perception of where you want things to go or looking for things to go should be to the upside like this on Cadence. Now, that being said, we talked about this just before we came over here, Adara. The ES did not have a green day today. And we were down. There was a late break, and okay, fair enough. Now we've clearly broken the trend. But the ES spent the entirety of the day in a downtrend with a late break at the end of the day. The NASDAQ fared better. Why? Because the chips were strong. Because Nvidia was strong. And at the end of the day, you look at SMH, you look at Nvidia at the end making more fresh highs, but it wasn't across the board. Now, we had some weakness in healthcare. We had weakness across multiple sectors, but the tech names led by those chips, they are absolutely churning. And let's not forget what we got last week. Last week, we got Alphabet with a huge CapEx number. I don't care what, and there were a couple of other catalysts for the chips this morning, but that CapEx number is having these names explode to the upside. It means more demand. And on top of that, later this week, we are going to get 2 major hyperscalers again with Amazon, maybe Meta to a certain extent, Microsoft. They're all going to come out, and we'll see if they give us the same juice that Alphabet does. Because if they do, there already isn't any stopping Nvidia, but it's going to get even crazier. And they weren't the only chip name in town. AMD, when it loads up here, really strong day to the upside as well. Getting really close. Let me go to the daily chart. Getting really close to busting out. Actually, it's not even the daily. It'll be the weekly chart, busting out on some monster levels on the weekly chart for AMD, which has been on a tear. Like right here, you got 3 big levels to worry about. 174, which it cracked today. 188 or 187 that it cracked back. This would have been like July. So actually a calendar year from here. And then just over that 210. So step 1 of AMD's return has been completed. 2 and 3 yet to be seen, and they don't report till next week. I think we get them on the 4th or the 5th, but still, it's got to be a good one in these chip names. And another one, Vanilla Man in America. Do you think the SMCI shorts are feeling anything yet? Will we get a tall glass of fresh squeeze SMCI in the morning? Well, I mean, it was the best chip name by like an absolute boatload today, percentage-wise. Like they moved 10% today. If the shorts aren't feeling anything on a day where SMCI moves like this, and it's already broken the trend a long time ago, and it just took out some big resistance in the mid-50s, then the shorts in this are delusional. They better be feeling something. How can it's so far removed from breaking the trend line here, and another 30% from when it made the trend break? I don't know. Sometimes you have those shorts that are like, yeah, we'll just keep doubling down on it. Oh, well, maybe you're not scared. You should be. You should be, shorts. You really should be. SMCI is on an absolute tier. 10% should scare them.
Yeah, that's also the type of name that, because of all the retail interest it gets, when it runs, it's likely to run. I do want to address Celestica. A lot of people asking me when are Celestica earnings. They're not till 4:35 p.m., which does mean, unfortunately, there's a very small chance we'll be able to cover them in the market recap unless they come out early because we end at 4:30 p.m. So let's get some people were saying, are they happening tomorrow morning? Are they happening today? As far as I can tell, they're happening today. But again, we're not going to see them during this show. I also want to check today, potentially, is there any chance we're going to be getting them? I guess the earnings call timing, is that going to be tomorrow morning? The earnings call will be tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. for CLS. But again, we're expected to see the report itself tonight. So similar situation to Nucor, another earnings that we're unlikely to cover because it comes out right at the end of the market recap. We will very likely, we're going to get them today, but the actual call we'll be reacting to will not be happening until the morning. Interesting to, sorry, Fabian, that's actually Michael Noss's screen. One interesting thing too, that Michael Noss, who we're going to greet in a second, actually said on X, right before you said that he posted this, SMH is rare to see this up on a day that the SPY is down. And we really could not keep SMH down either, because one thing I do want to touch on as well is the fact that we had a negative catalyst for chips. And it did tank the market. That was now another piece of pressure coming from the House and the Senate. They really do not want Nvidia to sell these chips to China. I mean, any of these companies, but Nvidia definitely is the big kahuna in that sense. We know that in addition to the House China Committee apparently trying to investigate this, we also have House Democrats sending a letter, Senate Democrats apparently sending a letter saying that they are absolutely not a fan of the resumption of these China chip sales. So we'll have to see what that results. But it's interesting how such a positive catalyst for the chips could end up being a really, really big headwind going forward.
But the thing is, too, I think some of them are a little tone deaf, because you have to, there's a balance here, because you can either send them weaker chips and have them in your pocket, so to say, and dependent on chips that are not as fast and not as high quality, but at least then you are putting a little bit of a damper on their own ingenuity, because, well, they can use Nvidia's lesser chips and that'll be fine, so they don't have to create better ones themselves. If you just take, here's what's gonna, if we've not been paying attention to China for the last few decades, if you don't let them have any, what do you think is gonna happen? Eventually they're gonna figure it out themselves. Then you're not gonna be making buckets and buckets of dollars off of them, which again is gonna help support the US dollar, and it's just gonna be great for Nvidia, it's gonna be great for AMD and whoever else is selling there. But on top of that, you're just giving them more reason to innovate at the same time. You want that control. So I think a balance gets drawn there, but you're right. But I do love the fact that when we have a negative headline, and we saw this with Palantir, what is the end result? If it gets bought up, I love it. It's just more confirmation that we're in a bull market, and certainly the chips are in one. Had we ended up trending down, fair enough. You just say, okay, well, it wasn't the greatest headline. We didn't go up today. Fine. But that just makes you more emboldened when you see something like that. Makes you like it all the more. So, yeah, that Celestica chart looks absolutely fantastic. I don't understand why are you going to report after market and then have the call in the morning? Get her done in the afternoon. It's not like there's a bunch of other earnings calls tonight. You could have it all to yourselves there, Celestica, but that's how they want to be. I'm not a fan of earnings calls in the morning, and I will never forget the one that I got caught in, because it was, it was the banks. And sometimes I was in Morgan Stanley, and it was winning, and I had to stop in, and it was a pre-market, and something got said on the call, and liquidity went to nothing, and my stop wasn't a market order, it was a stop limit, and I didn't get filled. So all of my gains were gone like that because of something that got said on the call, and I was deep in the money on it. But that's the thing. When they're on the call, any comment could have it flying around. I just prefer to have calls at the time of day that you're not trading. But I know somebody who doesn't necessarily care about earnings calls unless they trigger technical levels that fit his trading plan, because the NOS boss is here for Trader Talk, and he's all about the technicals. Get out of these fundamentals, Neil. Oh, my Trader Talk button doesn't work. Okay, I'm glad to speak to you, Michael.
Something when I come in, if your button's not working, then?
No, I try to gear it all up. I get psyched up. We get the Trader Talk, and the NOS boss is in here, and my Trader Talk button didn't work. But how was the weekend? I hope you had a good one, Michael.
It was fantastic. We can finally go to the beach here, soak up some rays, and it's not that cold, I guess, depending on where you are in the world in comparison.
Well, my nephew was visiting. My brother lives in Halifax, where Michael lives, and I sent my nephew back. He was here visiting, so we had him, and he's going back, I think, This flight should have been this morning, but yeah. So Halifax, fantastic. I can't wait to go back and visit. I miss him. I don't really get to see him as often as I'd like to, being on the East Coast there. But Michael, this market, absolutely relentless. But what's crazy about it is we were talking about this, and I don't know if you have any stats on that. It is very rare. Like you'd mentioned the whole SMH being up when the SPY is down. I can't think of too many times where you had the rally that we did in some of the chips, and then you pull up the SPY, and it was just a downward trend all day long, outside of the last maybe 10 minutes of the day. I mean, 15, called 15, 20. We might have broken the trend in the last 15 minutes on the spot. You just don't see that very often. And sometimes as a day trader, I didn't even have the perception of how weak the market was today because of what some of the longs were doing.
Well, yeah, and it's weird because if you look on a percentage basis, tech in general is 30% of the overall market, and semiconductors are roughly 10% of the overall market. So to see semiconductors not only do this, I had it zoomed out because it's a nice bounce off this prior cycle high that we had, but a great day and a good candle, an open near the close, right? Close near the high. It's what you want to see. And then you go to the SPY and we're down a little bit today. It's a relentless bid. I wonder if there's some sort of repositioning happening because we have some events tomorrow, later in the week, and we've got earnings, we've got a bunch of economic numbers, and today was kind of a bit of a nothing burger. I wonder if this is just the market floating around, for lack of a better term, because a lot of the big guys just kind of sat the day out. But very, very rare to see that energy, which is about 3% of the market, was just screaming higher all day with, XOP up 2.5%, oil up a bunch as well. And then we had semis going great as well. And yeah, the market ended up down. So it's a very weird day. It's something that I'm excited to really dive into and see if I can find any themes tonight.
Yeah, and hopefully do us a favor, Michael. If you happen to find anything, just throw something. I know you're not going to be on till Friday. Maybe throw something on X so everyone can find out what you're looking at. For as a day trader, I'll try to keep it as simple as possible. I probably won't go any further than knowing that the first things I look at tomorrow morning are going to be SMCI, Nvidia, and AMD. Just because, and it doesn't really matter the direction. I'm going to start with the chips and maybe go from there. But it's not as if, as you said, energy had a bit of a rally. I mean, energy was looking pretty good as well. Now, that's a space where I've really only ever heard you talk about natural gas, and from a fundamental standpoint, EU deal probably helps them. But what's your take on maybe looking at either nat gas or, I don't know, we have earnings at the end of the week. I know you don't care too much about this, but the two big companies, XOM and CVX, Chevron, they report at the end of the week. And they've been in this, look at this pattern. It just seems as if we've been in a very long bullish consolidation on specifically XOM. You could say the same thing about CVX. Maybe this is primed to go. And I know you like bull flags of that sort. Are there any of these major oil names that you have on your watch, or is it really just some of the smaller stuff?
Well, I have up here the commitment traders data and the commodity, just oil itself. And one of the reasons that if I'm looking at the actual future, I always have this commitment trader data up. This is by bar chart. You can find it for free because it tells you where the large speculators and where the small speculators are located at and whether they're long or short. And that can give a whole bunch. I have a whole theory about why the market's drifting higher based solely on this data. And we're starting to see for the first time in a long time, this red line here is your commercial hedger. So these are the guys in the know. They're using futures to hedge some business that they do. And they're usually right. They've been short oil kind of this entire time as a hedge all the way down. And then you have the green line, which is your speculators, and they're usually wrong. And the idea is that sometimes there's some really good alpha to be had by fading one side or the other if it's a little bit overweight. And for the first time in a long time, we are actually seeing more of drifting towards a net short position on oil. So that to me is very interesting, just looking at the chart here and showing that we've had this you got to be careful because that data goes negative. But really huge level here around $65. We undercut that briefly during the tariff tantrum and then just spiked right back above. So the fact that we are holding this zone after that move, and we're getting a lot of the speculators shaken out of their long positions and potentially into the next short thing. That makes oil as a commodity very interesting. And from there, you can start looking at things like XOP, which is your oil services ETF, and then maybe go down this name because this actually looks a little bit stronger, and then go into this name and maybe find individual names from there. But the positioning data is starting to get interesting to me on oil.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you on that, and a good look on XOP. And I love what you always say about, know where you want to look first, and then sort of dig down into the individual name after, because the more important part is understanding where the next part in the rotation, I suppose, for lack of a better term, is going to go. Like, what sector is it going into? And you can always play the ETF, but just out of curiosity, when you run a study, let's say on the XOP to find a symbol individually, are you going to just look for the best technical setup in the chart on an individual name, or would you ever look back to, let's say, like a prior bull run on the index a few years back, and then what performed the best the last time? Is it always about a technical setup, or do you ever look back at prior data, say in the XOP, last time it was in a bull rally, this was the best stock? Which approach do you go with? If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. And one of the things I like to do is just relative ratios. So here I've got XOP open, and if I just do something like CVX over XOP, so divided by XOP, it gives you this kind of relative chart. So this is, instead of CVX over the US dollar, this is CVX over XOP. So it's going to show when this line goes up, basically CVX is outperforming the XOP. When this line goes down, then it's underperforming the XOP essentially. And this is something that I can scan for and I can build in some of the back testing and the quant software I look at. So what I will look for is the one in which this ratio chart actually looks the best. Because if I'm bullish the XOP in general, and I think that that's going to move higher, then I can just go and I can say, okay, give me whatever the strongest name is right now relative to that XOP, and just start going down that list. And once I find something that is relatively strong to the sector that I'm looking at, then I know that's the best fishing ground. So anything that this line would be downward sloping in the recent past, so say in the last month or so, if the rate of change of this is lower, I'm not really going to be interested in that, because it means even when the XOP was moving higher, this wasn't one of the strongest names in there and getting that kind of relative push. So those completely go out the window, and then I'm probably left with a list of 5 to 10 names, and I'll just go through those and figure out which ones look technically the best, again, considering that they're outperforming the sector in which they're part of.
One of these days, Michael, one of these days. Every single time you come on, we have a general idea of what you might want to talk about, and we'll go through some certain things. And I usually think that I'll be able to ask a question which we have not talked about, or maybe something we've never discussed before, like a little part of the strategy, like, yeah, he's not going to be ready for this question. I'll throw it in there, and then you still have a technical answer which answers it perfectly. One of these days I'm going to have, and it'll be perfectly fine when it happens, Michael, when I'll ask a question like that, and you'll say, hey, I'll come back on Friday, and I'll have a good answer for you on that, which is perfectly fine. It just hasn't happened yet, and that was a great answer, and it's a great feature to look at. Individual names relative to the sectors. Moving on a little bit here, we talked about in the morning show a little bit about rate. We're not getting any rate cuts, and I know we've discussed IWM before and the Russell, and just any update there, sort of as we look at different sectors that might be lagging or trying to make a move. I know we've been waiting for this breakout for quite some time in the Russell. Do you have anything to go on here, or are we all just waiting until either we get the cut? I don't think this is going to move before we get the first cut. That's my opinion, but that's still an opinion. It's just not doing anything.
Yeah, it's really hard to see a huge reaction after the cut unless something like the Fed rate tool is wrong. Right. So you can Google the Fed interest rate tool and it will give you the probability every time there's a cut, and it does that by just figuring out different prices of different bond instruments. And they're usually pretty right about a week or so before. I wouldn't look months before, but as they get closer, they're generally more correct. And that tells me that everything's priced in. So you need to see they were only looking at a 30% chance of a rate cut, and then the cut comes in or something like that. It's both, I think, a good thing and then a bit of a bad thing when it comes to trading, is that Powell, love him or hate him, has been insanely transparent about what he's going to do. He tells you months in advance what he's planning on doing with rate cuts and what he's doing, higher for longer. If you took a shot every time he said that, you'd be dead. So it's just a lot of, he telegraphs everything so far in advance that I think the actual Fed rate decision doesn't really matter that much anymore. It's looking at the data, like, for example, the job openings tomorrow, that might force his hand one way or another. That's, I think, more what's going to react when it comes to these interest rate sensitive securities like the IWM. So far, it's been a dog to trade like it always has been, but I'm optimistic that at some point the small caps will have their days, just because it's more fun as someone who trades a little bit of everything to be able to trade the small caps.
Thank you for being here with us, Michael. And speaking of a bit of everything, one sector that's been pretty odd lately has been these kind of fintech related names. Now, there's quite a few of them that are reporting earnings this week. SoFi, Robinhood, Coinbase. Is there anything in that space that you are interested in right now that you would maybe, evaluate your position if you're heading into earnings, or that you might even want to enter heading around the report, depending on how it sets up?
I'm very interested in SoFi, actually. And a lot of this is because if you look at the other ones, let me start here on my chart here with Robinhood. Again, full disclosure, I'm still in Robinhood from the 50s, just trying to, this is quickly entering the just might as well hold it forever at this point kind of idea. But if you look at this chart and you study it pretty closely, you had the completely fell out of favor, long, low base, and then slowly worked its way back up to highs. When it got there, there's a little bit of shenanigans, and then the breakthrough was nice. And then let's actually look at Coinbase as well, which is kind of doing the same thing, where long, low base, got back up to highs, a little bit of shenanigans, and then through highs. And then if you look at SoFi, it kind of just looks the same, just a little bit behind, where it fell out of favor, crashed all the way down, slowly grinding its way up. And then if it gets to these highs and actually breaks through, I'm very interested in this. And it may actually just happen as a bit of a catch-up trade on earnings if there's some sort of surprise. So for me, I'm always waiting for a couple days after earnings to let things die down and to let a technical picture become clear. But if we can get through this in SoFi, for a long-term play, I really like the look of it, because even if it doesn't do anywhere near on a percentage basis like Hood did, if it gets half of that, that's great. Hood has been a double so far, so I'll take anything there when it comes to SoFi. I haven't checked their short float, but something tells me that there's it's not nothing. It's about 12%. So that could be an interesting one as well. So I'm interested in SoFi potentially if we can get back to these highs.
I think that's a great look. And I'm not just saying that because I own SoFi, but I have mentioned, and Sean and I were both talking about this, as good as SoFi has been off of the lows, everyone that's in it just wishes they were in Robinhood instead. And I'll be the first person to admit, so I really hope those charts look a little bit more similar by the end of the year, but you never know. The short float is not nearly as big as some stocks like that. You've already had that big rally, so I feel like there's some shorts that have probably covered when it made the rounded bottom, and then you're waiting for a few more to get caught when it breaks out the high, shorting in front of the high. So that's what I'm hoping for after the earnings. But we were talking about the fact that usually I'm expecting shenanigans, because the last few quarters they've dropped, like they're on earnings. If they move up, they move a little, and if they move down, they move a lot. So I'm kind of thinking you get one more pullback on that stock. But another great look there for you, Michael. And I kid, of course. Like, I'm not actively trying to get you with a question that you're not prepared for. I'm just actively trying to get you with a question you're not prepared for. And we'll get you on Friday, hopefully, or the next time we get to talk. As always, it's an absolute pleasure. Michael Noss from Stats Edge. You can always check him out on X. Great posts there. And if you have any questions, if you have any questions for Michael, you throw them in the chat, you throw them at us. He's on a couple of times a week, and we can get them to him. A fantastic resource and a good friend of the show, as always. Best of luck in your trading, Michael.
Well, thank you for having me. I'll talk to you guys on Friday.
I appreciate you, brother. Take care.
See ya.
Oh, well, I tried to do the Trader Talk button, but I guess it's really not working. You know what? My PC was messing up, and I bet you I had to restart Stream Deck. Ooh. What was that? What was that? No, it's a... You can't... How come I don't have those buttons? You got to share some of these on the Stream Deck, Fabian. I need all of those sound effects. I need a whole page of sound effects because it'd be fun to have. Look, Adara, we still don't actually have numbers from Tilray, do we?
We did get CLS. I can talk about
Okay.
CLS. I put them in the chat as well, guys. So usually if we have a guest and I'm not able to say them out loud, I will put them in the chat if they're out. So just, take a look out or message me directly, Adara LePage. Celestica. This is a solid report, guys. Bang up report as far as I can tell. $1.39 here, adjusted earnings per share versus $1.22 expected. That is a nice little beat. Sales, excellent beat. 2.893 bill versus 2.652 bill expected. Now, their guidance. Honestly, I'm not seeing anything bad about this report yet. Excuse me, guiding Q3 adjusted earnings between 137 and 153 per share. Q3 sales also above estimates here. Now, for the fiscal year, they are raising their guidance well above estimates, raising their EPS guidance for the year from $5 to $5.50, well above $5.02 expected. Sales, Neil, also great. Initially, they were seeing 10.85 bill. Now they're seeing 11.55 bill, well above estimates of 10.945 bill. So honestly, there's really nothing bad here about the CLS report. Solid look. Congrats to anyone who was long this name. Even if you took it off earnings, you've already got like roughly a $15 move.
Yeah, you know what that reminds me, and it's like in baseball when you see a pitcher warming up on your team, or you hadn't seen him, or see a guy at a tryout, he throws one fastball, you're like, hear it in the glove, that'll play. You know that'll play. Those earnings will play. Celestica, 52-week highs, up a boatload as well, double digits. At one point, it was double digits. I don't know if it's still double digits. Strong one. Unfortunately, we don't have Tilray earnings, but we'll get that to you in the morning. There's going to be a lot to look at. SoFi earnings in the morning. Please don't suck, SoFi. I know, we own some SoFi shares. But that's not what it's all about. It's about getting you guys what you need. Now, Adara has been powering through the entire day. You guys can hear it. And I know everyone wants to hear Adara do roll call, but I'm going to take the roll call so that you can get a bit of a break. And I understand that's a disappointment to all of you. But what I want you to do right about now is jump into the chat, hit the subscribe so that you can be in the chat, and give a big shout out. Give a shout out to our entire team. Fabian, Ramin, Andre, Sean, Brendo, the Midday Boys, Obi filling in for Joe, and Sharif. But more importantly, for Michael Moss as well, but more importantly, just give all your best to Adara for putting in a hard day's work. To do this with her voice being out is just incredibly impressive. I don't know how she does it. Absolute trooper. So thank you so much, Adara. And I want every one of you to jump in there and throw out the ones, throw out the thank you, Adaras, whatever. Get it, Adaras, we like to say. Because let's get some roll call, everybody. Starting with 007 Kyle. The best bond is still Connery. Got Chris E.D. Edwards, Dan C. Bristol, Profiles, we got Schwartz, Mr. King, Ed Miller, SK, Marco Hernandez, Durarte Gordon, A Day in This Life, Adam DeLuz in the house, Tyler Smith, Ryan O'Day, now it's going too fast, Mr. Ryan, Relojo de Rojas, Mr. Westermeyer, Stevenson Etienne, Sharif's left bicep, okay, Derek Thompson and Sebastian's in the chat. Apple Lonnie, see, you got Christmas. You got me with that one, the Sharif left bicep. What is it with this Sharif's mom, the Sharif left bicep? Sharif's lips. Zion Lala's in the chat. Front Porch Trader. Mike Lowry in the chat. James H. Bobo in the chat. Setinder G. Eric Bishop. Captain Bananas. Bilbo Bagholder. The J420. Joseph Birch Music. Bob the Dog. Ron Miller. Donkey Trader. Sanjay. And they had CompuCare team. You're here, my friend. Always have to wait for you to say that one. And let's end it with Jedi. May the Force be with you. Why not? That's absolutely perfect. Hopefully I did the roll call some justice, but the best thing about it is if I didn't, you can come watch it again tomorrow.
Tilray earnings.
But they're out now.
Yes, they are.
quickly, what are the earnings for
Yeah,
Tilray?
sorry guys, we'll get through this really quickly. They beat on EPS, they missed on sales. Q4 adjusted earnings of 2 cents per share. They're expecting a 3-cent loss. That's a good look. Sales, not as good of a look. 224.53 mil versus 250.41 mil expected. I would not say they're getting smoked, but certainly it could be greener here for TLRY.
I mean, you missed by 10% on revenue. That's probably not a good thing, but hey, they made money, right? That's probably adjusted earnings. They didn't actually make money. Sorry.
It is adjusted.
I was in accounting at first. I have a trouble with people saying you can't say the company made money if they only were profitable on adjusted earnings.
I feel the same way.
You can say you can say adjusted earnings were positive, but you can't say they made money. So Tilray hopefully does not go up in smoke. Either way, we'll be here tomorrow morning. This has been your Trader 2 Live Market Recap Show brought to you by Beta Pro, and we will see you at 8:30 in the morning. Go SoFi. I pity the fool that doesn't hit the like and subscribe button.